It's a Wednesday edition of Big 12 Today here on Big 12 Radio. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league. We are streaming on your screen at Big 12 Studios, the Big 12 Fast channel, wherever you find Big 12 Studios, that full list at big12studios.com. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westlane, producer Taman. T-Chain's over there running the show. Anthony back at the Big 12 Studios headquarters. Today we've got Chris Vannini from The Athletic, senior writer. We'll get updates on Brendan Sorsby and everything happening with the transfer portal. And then in hour number 3, super excited to sit down with the owner and publisher of Sun Devil Source. He is our source for all things Arizona State to get an update on head coach Kenny Dillingham. Chris Cartman will join us. He's a Heisman voter, very polished, and he runs the show down there in Tempe. Today is a Wednesday, which means we power rank the top 5 basketball teams. We will also be working through our Big 12 Today all-conference teams, and today we are at tight ends, so we'll have 3 tight ends, first team, second team, and third team, not 2 tight end sets. On a stand-on business Wednesday, we don't sit. It's also a wheels-off Wednesday. Ari, how are you, my friend?
I don't think your wheels off enough for me on a Wednesday
Okay.
here.
You need less wheels.
More cowbell.
More cowbell, less wheels because they're off.
Bring the excitement here, Japes. Come on. We've got basketball going on. We've got Christmas. It's the Christmas season. Still no Christmas music, but I think we're good. We've got the playoff this weekend.
Playoffs?
Bears and Packers on Saturday night to compete with the playoffs.
See, that's what I do. I set the table for your excitement.
Thank you.
Because I knew on a Wednesday you would be wheels off.
Bring the energy, bring the noise, bring the funk.
The energy and the noise, it is here. All right, let's start
I
with...
can tell. The energy, the noise.
The energy, the noise.
It's here.
It really got in my head very early on in my career. Somebody told me that I was too high energy.
Oh.
Like a talent coach said, you're a little bit too excited to be there. So now I've overcorrected. And I sleepwalk everywhere I go.
You're a little too excited.
Like, you pump the brakes, act like you've been there. Okay.
Do you ever think there are some talent coaches that don't really have any idea what they're doing because they don't have talent?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that's the case with your talent coach.
Right.
Just simply saying.
Yeah. You're not saying I don't have any talent because I was coached by somebody
No.
who doesn't have any talent.
You, my friend, are very talented.
Oh, that's the nicest thing you've
You suck all of the talent out of this room for everybody else. But, they say those who do can and those who can't teach.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
No, I don't think you're wrong. It's very subjective also as well in this industry, which can really mess with a person. One person says do this, the other person says don't do that, do it this way.
Yeah.
And
one person says you've got no energy, or the other person says you got too much energy.
Exactly. On the energy spectrum, where do I need to land? Just tell me.
You're a little too excited to be there.
What'd you do last night?
Nothing.
Cool.
Son had basketball practice.
Okay.
So that was fun.
Did you guys talk about defense?
Of course. Slide your feet. Did a lot of great defensive drills. He was jacked up, too, that we were talking about that on the show yesterday because he watches.
Awesome.
Yeah, Asher's a big fan of the show.
All right.
He's got a lot to say about you,
go.
but a big fan of the show.
What's up, Asher? Like the cool uncle.
Yeah, that never comes around.
Right, pretty much.
The cool uncle that lives a mile away, but we only see on TV.
I love it. All right, so this was from the Big 12. I think we need to highlight a legacy. Former Big 12 interim commissioner Chuck Ninus has passed away. He was the interim commissioner of the Big 12 2011 and 2012, passed away at the age of 93. But to summarize everything that Chuck did, not just for the Big 12, but for college athletics, he was monumental in carrying on the legacy that had been built with the Big 8 conference and those original 8 founding members. He also played a huge role in taking the power of the media rights, and he saw an opportunity with how big college athletics could be from a television standpoint, and he took that control from the NCAA, got it to a conference level, just had a huge impact. He oversaw the addition of both TCU and West Virginia, as conference members. So without Chuck, you might not be in this league. Like, he had a huge role in keeping this league alive when conference realignment just bum rushed us. And he's a 1957 graduate of Wisconsin. He was the commissioner of the Big Eight from 1971 to 1980. So rest in peace, Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, this commissioner, there's been 4 commissioners of the Big 12. 3 of them have been extremely influential. One, Dan Beebe, not so much. But, I mean, it's hard to sort of figure out who was the most influential, but certainly Chuck Ninus has a conversation there. Obviously, Brett Yormark's tenure is still well underway, and we're hoping he becomes the most influential. But, yeah, I mean, he basically ushered in the Big 12 era. Moving on from the Big 8 to the Big 12, he courted Texas and Texas A&M and Texas Tech and formed the initial Big 12, and then left, went off to become the athletic director at your alma mater, Kansas State, for a brief period, and then had to then take over again prior to Bob Bowlesby because, Dan Beebe, who was the second commissioner of the Big 12, really kind of ran it into the ground, which forced the hand of Nebraska and Missouri and some of these other programs to seek greener pastures. So conference realignment hits. The Big 12 looks like it could die for the first time. Bob Bowlesby comes in after Chuck Ninus steps in as the interim athletic director to save it. Bowlesby then takes it to the next step, and Brett Yormark. So, yeah, I don't think you would downplay the influence that Chuck Ninus had on this conference. This conference doesn't exist without Chuck Ninus multiple times over. Bob Bowlesby also saved the Big 12. And I think Brett Yormark is saving it in a completely different way now. But, I don't think you can understate his influence. And what was he, 93 years old?
93 years old.
Yeah, so a man who, ushered in part of the new era of college athletics in many ways. That sort of set the groundwork for the current modern era of college athletics, if you will.
And I think when you think about the Big 12 as it sits here today, you brought up kind of the big 3 with Chuck Ninus and Bob Bowlesby and now Commissioner Brett Yormark. Those are the big 3 in my eyes. Chuck formed the initial Big 12, saved it during that kind of, period of transition with TCU and West Virginia. And then Bob Bowlesby, he's the one that grabbed UCF and Cincinnati and Houston and BYU. And then Commissioner Yormark comes in and he grabs Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado to get this league to where it is today. All 3 of those guys, connected or not, played a major role in the trajectory of this league.
Yeah, Ninus expanded this league into Texas. Bowlesby expanded this league to make it more of a league across the United States, where it was more of a regional league because based on need by adding UCF and Cincinnati and BYU, and that really helped to stabilize the league at that point in time in Houston. And then obviously Brett Yormark with the huge move to, poach sitting power conference members in the Four Corner schools of the Pac-12. And obviously now we know that he's not resting on his laurels. This is a guy, Yormark, that's working tirelessly. And, as the ACC moves further and further towards an implosion, I'm sure that Brett Yormark, the Big 12, will be ready to pounce.
Absolutely. That voice is Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are brought to you, the full-time fan, by our friends at Modelo. Some of the big headlines over the last 24 hours. Kansas basketball. They played a game last night. We called it yesterday. Darren Peterson will not see the floor. Kansas didn't just sit Darren Peterson. They release a statement with a fancy signature, Bill Self's signature on that statement, saying Darren Peterson's not going to play against Towson. We don't know when he's going to play. The saga continues for Darren Peterson.
Yeah, and do you know what the issue is now?
No clue.
Cramps.
Oh, cramps. Cramps? The
Cramps.
same issue that's been lingering since August? September? October?
It's hard to keep track, James. We're talking about he played the first 2 games of the year while battling cramps, set out the next month due to the hamstring strain, then returned for 2 more. He was sick for one of them, which was the border war against Missouri. He then missed another game on Tuesday night as the Jayhawks beat Towson last night 73-49. This time due to quad cramps. Self-reiterated he's no longer dealing with hamstring issues. So if you're following along at home, he's dealt with a sickness, he's dealt with hamstring strain, he's dealt with cramps overall, and now cramps on his quad. It's hard to keep up. He also hasn't yet. He's yet to finish a game. The game the other night against NC State was the closest he's come to finishing a game. You know, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. I don't know how I'm the only one noticing how ridiculous this all is. And, you know, I keep seeing people fall all over themselves to talk about, oh, how cautious you've got to be. And I can't stand it. I mean, I'm about to lose my mind here if I haven't yet already, because, like, this isn't like a charity, you know, like he's getting paid $3 million to play.
These aren't exhibition games.
Yeah. Like, it's like, oh yeah, he's got a future to think about. Sure. Absolutely. Then don't play.
Yeah.
Then don't take the money and go sit out for the year and get ready for the NBA draft. I mean, if you're going to use the influence of Kansas to help your draft status, which you may or may not need, and leverage that to make a ton of money, it's clear that Kansas and Bill Self have made a really bad investment. I get that everybody's trying to, like, wait and see. Maybe we'll see something we haven't yet seen. It's clear this guy's not really willing to push himself. I think Bill Self is in a weird spot because he's certainly trying to, to back his guy, but also in what he's saying, you can kind of read between the lines a little bit. And I mean, at the end of the day, he's the one that ordered the code red, if you will. Mm-hmm. He's the one that decided to appropriate the funds to bring in Darren Peterson, which is probably the right move given the talent that he has. But, this is one of those things where we talked with Kelvin Sampson about how he recruits the types of players he recruits. He recruits their families. He knows the kind of guys he's got coming in. And that's where I think you've got to be concerned if you're Kansas in terms of, did you recruit the wrong guy? And could you have taken the $3 million that you spent on Darren Peterson and spent it in other ways for guys that are going to be contributing this season? But, it's 12 games. Maybe something drastically different happens, but this is the oddest circumstances and situation I've ever seen. And the fact that I just keep seeing people bend over backwards to justify it only enrages me more.
And we are for the Darren Peterson, we are going to shut him down for the season timeline. We are inching closer to that, right? We have stomach cramps, we're day-to-day. Then we have a hamstring injury, we're out for the near indefinite future. And then we're day-to-day again. We might try and play. Now we're at the let's get him ready for conference play part of the whole thing. And then it'll be let's get him ready for the home stretch. And then let's get him ready for the tournament. And then we are shutting him down. Here's what Bill Self said.
By the way, I'm out on that. There's no getting him ready for the tournament. Like, at that point, the train has left the station. Mm-hmm. You're doing more harm. I know he's averaging 19 points a game and shooting 52% from the floor. Those are really good numbers. I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see him finish a game.
Yeah.
But at this point, if he's still day-to-day dealing with cramps or whatever else he's dealing with at the end of the season, shut him down. You're doing more damage than good by adding him to a roster that has great chemistry right now and is figuring some things out on their own.
And remember, Duke tried to do that with Kyrie Irving. They got bounced in the Sweet 16 that year when they brought him back for the tournament. He had not played since December. Here's Self on the latest update.
I know that, he practiced yesterday, but he wasn't moving like he's capable of moving by any stretch. Much like the NC State game, much like the Missouri game. Although Missouri, I think, was more health related than it was legs. But it's not his hamstring, so at least we got that going for us. But he's frustrated. He's frustrated. When you can practice, you can be out there, but you just when you're young, but when you get a little bit older, your body doesn't exactly react the way your brain tells it to as you get a little bit older. I'll probably experience that, the next few years. That's what he's going through at age 19. His body's just not reacting. His brain's telling him to go somewhere and do it at this pace, and his body's just not reacting to it. So we still believe that it's, a day-to-day deal. We still believe that we'll get through this, but until he can actually move the way that his brain's programmed to move, his body to move, then we'll probably be very cautious still.
Am I here? Like, is everybody else hearing this? He is 19 years old. Have you ever in your life heard this?
No.
Like, what are we talking about here? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah. The day-to-day line, like that's become the go-to. That is the holding pattern. There's no timeline whatsoever.
It makes it seem like he's not in control of it, does it not? And based on how he's answering these questions and trying to make it seem like it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, let's call it what it is. It feels like load management without saying it's load management.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with Darren Peterson. Kansas is trying to protect their guy.
Can you ever remember any player ever missing games due to cramps?
At the college level?
At any level. At any level. Anywhere. Ever. Have you ever in your life heard of that? I mean, these must be the worst cramps ever. And, and again, like we had Mike O'Donnell on, he's a friend, and he's, you know what you're talking about. Oh, I mean, this is insane to me that this many people are talking about how cautious they need to be. This is absurdly cautious, and here's the thing. There is no, this is the time to get ready for the tournament. This is the time to establish chemistry on the court. Melvin Council, at this point, are we taking the ball out of his hands? I know it sounds ridiculous to say that. Here's a guy that is pegged to be a future NBA All-Star and all-time great in Darren Peterson. But, I've reached the point where it's at some point you're trying to force something in there that's not there. Cut your losses. Bye. We don't need to deal with this anymore.
And when he's not on the floor, you have an alpha. You have to find a go-to guy. And then he comes back, and what happens with that go-to guy? Because he's used to being the go-to guy. He's used to having the ball in his hands late in the shot clock, late in game scenarios, the floor general, the catalyst, all those things. When Peterson's on the floor, that's him. It's not like he's a post player that's just receiving the ball. He's the guy, which I think adds to the layer of importance of making a decision on if you're going to have him or if you're not. And it just all of the narrative that's being pushed from Kansas. I mentioned that they're trying to protect the player in Peterson, but also they're working really hard to keep all of their options open and not say anything definitive because they don't want to make that call too early. And I think about guys that have played at KU or guys that have played in the Big 12, like Frank Mason. Would Frank Mason ever miss a game because of cramps? Would Devontae Graham have missed games because of cramps? Those were NBA players.
James, have you ever heard of anybody ever missing games?
Would Marcus Smart come off the floor? Those guys battled through so many injuries and bumps and bruises. Those were dogs.
Are we under any impression that Flory Bidunga feels perfect right now?
Right.
Are we under any impression that Melvin Council feels perfect right now, 12 games into the season? This is what happens. It's a physical game. These are physical games. There's wear and tear. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to feel perfect. The idea that he's at 19, that his brain's telling him to do something and his body's not able to do it. I mean, it's the most ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
19 years old.
It's ridiculous. And I mean, Self also commented on the chemistry piece. Let's hear what he had to say about, we're getting to that time where we've got to figure out what we look like on the floor together.
I've been concerned for, 5 weeks. Guys, he couldn't finish the Louisville game. You get 24 and 14 minutes, and then you say, I can't go. And is it nagging? Yeah, but it's also bad enough that it just hasn't gotten better like we had hoped. We went through a period of time where it wasn't cramping; it was just the hamstring, and then that healed up. I'm not worried yet. I'm concerned because this team needs to have an extended period of time together because it doesn't work he practiced for 2 days so he's ready to go. That's not how it works. He wouldn't be able to help us that way. We wouldn't know how to help him. He wouldn't know how to help others. There's got to be a rhythm to it, and hopefully, and the rhythm isn't just being out there and being at 70% or whatever. The rhythm is having extended days where you're 100%. So
Yeah, this guy's not playing anytime soon. I mean, he wants to see him at 100%, string together multiple practices to build that chemistry before he's on the floor. And what does – I'm not worried yet, but I'm concerned.
So a couple of things from that clip. Number one, he said the quiet part out loud, right? He said the Louisville game, he had 24 points in 14 minutes and said he can't go. He can't finish the game. He said that. Derek Peterson told him, I can't go. I can't finish this. It's a quiet part out loud, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
if you're a dog, you finish that game.
I mean, it's a Louisville preseason game, but it's indicative of every other game that has followed. He hasn't finished a game.
Yeah.
He's played in 4 games and hasn't finished any of them.
And Bill Self continues to say, well, I see that he's not moving at the rate that he's capable of. I don't think that's the case. I think it's Peterson saying, take me out of the game. I don't feel good.
Yeah, Self is trying to protect the decision that he made to give him $3 million.
Yeah.
Because it's not all on Derek Peterson. It's also on Bill Self to not vet this guy that is either getting the shots called from his dad or his friends or whatever, or himself. Hey, if you don't feel good, things don't feel right, sit out.
Yep.
You don't have to. He's not committed. I don't know how else they have to say it. He has to tell you as plainly as he possibly could. I don't need, Thomas Robinson, the former great KU guy, was on Fuel the 68. He's like, oh yeah, you can't mess around with that stuff. BS. He's not committed. He's not committed.
Thomas Robinson said that?
Yeah.
Like he was a dude. He was a beast. He wouldn't
Everybody
be
is
out.
falling over backwards to make excuses for this dude. Why do we have to do it? He's a big boy. He's making $3 million.
Yeah.
He took the money. He didn't have to. If you're not going to be committed, then don't do it.
Right.
Sit out. Don't waste all of our time. He's wasting everybody's time and energy right now, including myself.
Load management. Peterson out again last night. Kansas still gets the win, 78-49 over Towson. And coming up next, where will we have Kansas in our Big 12 basketball power rankings? That's around the corner, 1 through 5. We rank the teams in the league. He's Ari, I'm James. This is Big 12 Today, powered by Modelo, here on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. Back inside Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo, heard exclusively on TuneIn. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we will start getting to know Texas Tech's potential opponents in the college football playoff. What are the strengths and weaknesses of a team like Oregon, Alabama, Oklahoma, Indiana? Those are all the teams that are on Texas Tech's side of the bracket with James Madison. So Tech will play one of those teams after Oregon and James Madison if they get past that quarterfinal matchup. It's time, though, to, what do we do on Wednesdays? We power rank. And what do we say about power rankings?
It's not good enough to just have things in this world. You have to power rank them accordingly. And so that is what we do on Wednesdays. We power rank. Remember, most days we put our pants on one leg at a time. And on Wednesdays, once our pants are on, we power rank.
We power rank.
A couple of power ranking fools over here.
I was strolling through Sprouts last night, and I was thinking about this segment. Where am I going to power rank these teams? And I thought I'd love to power rank my favorite Sprouts snacks right here on the spot. Top of the list was the Wishes vanilla protein cereal. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. I know you're all about those gains. Google and gains. That is Ari Timken.
We are living in a material world, and you are a Sprouts girl, boy.
Material man.
That's right.
All right, we're power ranking top 5 Big 12 basketball teams. We wrapped up football last week, so we're doing some hoops today. Taman, walk us through it.
Number 5.
By the way, you think we're going to have any differences in our top 5 today?
Maybe. Hard, maybe. I'd put it at 60%.
60% we're going to have
60% will have a difference. So 40% will have the same. Who do you have at number 5?
Number 5 for me is Kansas. Even without Darren Peterson and his 19 points on 52% shooting from the floor. By the way, is the guy not going to full strength, averaging 19 points on 52% shooting? Looks fine to me. But yeah, I mean, Kansas, even without him, has some impressive wins, including a win at NC State, which is a probable tournament team. Obviously beating Tennessee in Vegas and winning 3 straight over really good opponents, Power 5 opponents, in Vegas. So, as a Kansas fan, I've resigned myself to this is the team to expect the rest of the year. Not sure they have Final Four potential with it, but they're fun to watch. They like each other. They play well. They share the basketball. And Melvin Council's playing on a different level right now. I don't know how long they're able to count on him. They're probably going to need different guys at different times to step up, but Kansas right now, number 5.
I've got Kansas number 5 as well, and the only thing that's holding me back from throwing like a UCF or Arizona State or Colorado or Oklahoma State in my top 5 is just their schedule and lack of quality wins. Now, Oklahoma State has a really nice win that is aging well over Texas A&M. UCF also has some really nice wins over Texas A&M and Pitt in the non-conference, but Texas A&M, who's going to be a top 5 seed, I believe, in the NCAA tournament. They're really good. They were really beat up in those early season games and missing some starters. So I've got Kansas at number 5 as well. I'm with you on Council. Like, he was brought in as a ball-hawking, hounding defender. He is an elite on-ball defender. If the offensive part of his game continues to progress in the way that it has, like, he could be an all-Big 12 type player. I love Flory on the inside, his defensive presence. Kansas has been elite defensively, and if they continue to knock down shots, they're going to be a real problem.
Yeah, Tyshawn Taylor 2.0.
Plays like him, looks like him.
It's kind of weird.
All of it.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me is BYU. They're number 6 in the net, which actually means they're probably a little bit too low on my list. And what a great start BYU has in terms of their resume. They're 3-1 right now in quad 1 wins and 3-0 in quad 2 games. They're number 9 in the Ken Palm. And yeah, I mean, they're both good on offense and defense. This is an elite basketball team and a Final Four contender. And I believe the top 4 of my rankings this week are all Final Four contenders.
Absolutely. And I think these top 4 teams that we're discussing are 4 of maybe the top 5 or 6 best basketball teams in the entire country. I've got BYU number 4 as well. A.J. DiBonta is a game changer. Like, he's a guy that when you need a basket, he's going to get it or at least get to the foul line. The offensive productivity. They are much further along defensively and have depth on the defensive end of the floor along their front line, which was a problem last year, late in the year. I am a little bit concerned about their depth, though. Losing Dawson Baker, who is a major glue guy for them, they're only playing about 6 or 7 deep. And when they get into league play, it's like those top 5 guys are going to be logging 30, 35 minutes a game. So I'm concerned about their wear and tear.
Number 3.
This is where our lists might deviate.
Might deviate.
Number 3 for me is Iowa State.
Or not deviate at all.
60%. Should have known. 11-0 with a top 5 net. Honestly, I don't know why I don't have Houston in this spot. I probably should. As you should too. But I guess some of that is just reputation with Houston and the fact that they've won this league in back-to-back years. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. But Iowa State is, I mean, they have a case to be the number 1 overall team in the country.
Yeah.
With what they did against Purdue. I mean, yeah, they're 3-0 right now in Quad 1. And they're not just winning. They're winning ways with, quality wins, no bad losses, strong efficiency. Like they're on the path as a 1 seed right now. Iowa State, a fire-breathing dragon, and there's 2 of them right now in the Big 12, at least 2, maybe 3.
Very much so, and I agree with everything you said. Like, they might be the number 1 team in the country the way they're playing. To go on the road and beat Purdue by 30, I think, and it's probably not justified, like it's not fair, but something is hanging over our heads thinking about how they ended last season. And it's a lot of the same guys, but Momcilovic, Tamin Lipsey, Joshua Jefferson have all taken a major step forward. Jefferson was a turnover machine last year. That was his Achilles heel. He has cleaned that up. And we know he can score the basketball. We know that he's kind of a point forward who is so versatile. He is this year what Darion Williams was to Texas Tech last year. I love the way Iowa State is scoring the basketball. And the flying Frenchman, the freshman from Paris, France, Kylian Touré, might be their best on-ball defender, but he's still a freshman. Want to see how that holds up in Big 12 play.
Number 2.
Yeah, see, and for me, it has nothing to do with Iowa State and how they finished last year. For me, it's more about Houston. And, I couldn't put them in the 1 spot. But, again, they're back-to-back Big 12 champs. They've won the Big 12 championship in the regular season and the tournament 3 out of 4 in 2 years. I mean, it's more of a kiss the ring than it is anything else. I've got Houston at number 2, as you do. 10-1 with the net at number 15. Again, resume-wise, doesn't stand up to some of these other teams in the Big 12, but for me, they're a top 10 efficiency team. They're a top 10 Ken Palm team, and they're every bit as good as last year's team and haven't yet nearly scratched the surface of their potential yet, even at whatever they are, 10-1.
They're 10-1. They're number 9 in Ken Palm. They're number 6 in defensive rating. The only thing holding Houston back are some late-game heroics from Tennessee at the Players' era. Their 1 loss. This team, top to bottom, talent-wise, is better than the Houston team last year. And they've gotten off to this start with Milos Uzan in a shooting slump. Like, he is not shooting the basketball at the rate that he was towards the tail end of last year. But they have 2 natural point guards in the backcourt with him and Kingston Flemings. Emmanuel Sharp can get anywhere he wants on the floor. He's an elite knockdown shooter. I love Sanak on the interior with JoJo Tugler. That is a team that will be back in the Final Four, I strongly believe. I've got Houston number 2 as well.
Number 1.
Yeah, no question. It's the 10-0 Arizona Wildcats who won last night to improve to 10-0. I mean, a modest victory for them over Abilene Christian, 96-62. I say that not jokingly. And look, they only out-rebounded them 38-23. So when you think about this bully ball team, they were, however, on the defensive glass, 31-12. But they got out-rebounded the offensive glass. So Abilene Christian kept it going to the offensive glass. 67% from the floor last night. I mean, like, this is what they do. They out-rebound you. They shoot efficiently. Like, yeah, they're a fire-breathing dragon. And the thing is, there's no slowing them down because they're not like a high-variance team. Like, when you play the style they play with, that tends to travel and hold up. Like, they're physical from the jump. You got to match their physicality in order to have a chance against them.
You mean being more physical and scoring all your points right at the rim travels well? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to.
I'd say so. I'd say so.
They also are the first team in modern college basketball history to have 5 top 25 wins. in their first 9 games, and they're 4-0 already in quad 1.
Man, they have an NBA roster. Like, they look like an NBA team with their height, their length, their athleticism, their physicality. Jaden Bradley is unguardable. He can get anywhere he wants on the floor with his strength. And then Braden Burries, multiple 20-point games over the last couple of weeks. Big 12 weekly honors. Like, this is a freshman who was the second best freshman on this Arizona team coming into the season with Koa Pete getting all the headlines. Yeah, over 90 points per game. They're just an absolute machine.
All right, just down the stretch of this season. February 18th, BYU. February 21st, at Houston. February 24th, at Baylor. February 28th, Kansas. March 2nd, Iowa State. Then they close out the season at Colorado. But they go, and if you include Texas Tech in there, basically at the beginning of February, Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, at Houston, at Baylor, Kansas, Iowa State.
That is a gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
I think anybody would say, yeah, if we go 500 down that stretch, we feel pretty good. But right now, I mean, Arizona, I cannot wait
In a month,
for those matchups.
in a month, between February 9th and March 2nd, I'm not including the last game against Colorado. At Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, at Houston, at Baylor, Kansas, Iowa State.
And I think
That'll be fun.
clearly everybody in the Big 12 has a stretch at some point on their schedule that rivals that because this league is just so stacked top to bottom. All right, Taman, what are we randomly power ranking today on a Wednesday?
Okay, we are randomly power ranking a tragedy that happened earlier this week. Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were tragically killed by their son.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. But to that, we're going to do a tribute to Rob Reiner. We are going to power rank the top 5 Rob Reiner movies.
For a second, I thought he was going to have his power rank tragedies.
I don't want to do that.
On today's show.
Not horrible. Ari?
That doesn't sound fun.
No, not at all.
There's no fun in
Just
that.
the positioning off the front end of that was like, well, there was a tragedy that happened this weekend, so let's power rank the top 5 tragedies of all time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what a tragedy. We lost a all-timer as Rob Reiner and his wife were allegedly murdered in cold blood by their son on Sunday, who's been being held in jail right now without bail.
Like, man. Shades of the Mendoza brothers. It's wild. All right, who do you have at number 5? By who, I mean movie.
Let me find my list here. This is a tough list to crack here. Now, Rob Reiner was director, writer, actor, all the things.
Right.
And number 5 for me, this might be a little bit too low, but it's Stand By Me, a coming-of-age tale. I mean, all of these are iconic movies. Like, just going through this list, it's hard to find the 5. But, yeah, Stand By Me has to make this list. Just to think about, like, how difficult of a job it is for him to direct this movie, considering it's child actors. You know, it was a nostalgia movie, but there was no sentimentality in it. It's just I went back and actually watched that movie the other night, and because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and it still resonates in a completely different way as an adult than it did when I watched it when I was younger.
Yeah. All right, number 5 for me. This is my sleeper pick. This is my 12 seed. I've got The Bucket List from 2007. The critics didn't love it, but it was a massive audience hit because he took 2 guys in Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman towards the tail end of their careers, got them together, 2 legends, no weak scenes, and did over $175 million worldwide at the box office on a very modest budget. It's like, hey, I'm going to grab a couple of my friends, see what they can do. They do $175 million. Bucket List number 5.
Mine? Or you're asking?
You say number 4.
No, number 4. Number 4.
There you go. There you go.
Wow. Just foaming at the mouth here.
Taman, we've got a show today.
Number 4. Misery. You want to think about, Rob Reiner, we think of him for the funny movies. Misery is a scary movie because of how plausible and realistic it is. Like, Kathy Bates is so freaking good in this movie. And when you think about, like, scary movies and the villain, normally it's like a supernatural, hyper-intelligent, evil. This is like She has mood swings. She's plausible because she's such a rational person to a degree, but she's fallible. And I mean, it's James Caan, Kathy Bates. It just the whole concept of you're in the misery with them because you can't leave. You're in this confined space. It's a very claustrophobic movie. Like, it's a wild one. This is another one I want to go back and watch again because I haven't seen it in many years. But Misery, number 4 for me.
Dude, Ari is so in the zone today. I cannot wait for some of these fake bowl games that I've come up with centered around our personalities later in the show. It's going to be big. Number 4, Taman, here's the traffic. Ari goes, I go, and then you throw it to a number.
You threw me off because the first one you did number 5.
That's the traffic. Number 4 for me is Sleepless in Seattle. Now, he didn't direct or write this movie. He was actually in the movie as an actor, but his fingerprints are all over it. One of the defining rom-coms of the 90s. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, peak rom-com chemistry era. And I read that he had a huge impact on some of the scenes and what they were actually doing. He would tweak a thing here or there. He spent a ton of time on set. Did $227 million worldwide.
Number 3.
There it is.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Look at this guy.
Number 3 is The Princess Bride. I mean, when I think about a movie that painted my childhood, it's The Princess Bride. It's the book being read to Savage at the beginning, and that's so the story being told through that vantage point. It's so good. Like it's so well done. Even going back, it stands up. Andre the Giant. It's a fantastic movie, and it's unique unto itself, like all of these movies.
I also have The Princess Bride at number 3. And I gave you a lot of flack for not having seen the new Top Gun. I have not seen The Princess Bride. 1987. I know it's a class. It's got a Rotten Tomatoes score in the 90s. Ranked among the greatest family films ever made. I'll add it to the list. Taman, we're moving on.
Number 2.
I could tell. I knew what was coming. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to fake my way through it like I do many things in life. Fake it till you make it. Coming Clean. I've not seen it.
Can you go? You watch something you watch some stupid show with your wife every night.
Stupid show?
Can you not put aside a couple of hours and watch The Princess
Stupid
Bride?
show?
Yes.
Crime action thrillers?
How much time did you spend watching
City?
Pluribus? You told me if I had to watch Pluribus.
Yeah.
I watched 60 minutes of it, and I never get that back.
We shut that down.
You won't watch A Princess Bride?
I'll add it to the list with Chris.
No. Don't add it to list. Put it to the top of the list. Don't watch your stupid show tonight. Spend an hour tonight, hour tomorrow night. Boom. You got The Princess Bride. Are you out of your mind? Where are we?
Number 2.
I've entered outer space right now because I'm so upset.
We're number 2.
A Few Good Men. Again, the range of Rob Reiner. He didn't write it. He did a lot of films with Aaron Sorkin, including The American President. Aaron Sorkin with the dialogue's fantastic. It's the combination of those two. And his buddy Jack Nicholson, as you mentioned, who he brought back to do a bucket list. Man, is Jack Nicholson good in this movie. I mean, and Nicholson is so good in so many movies. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Shining. This may be his best. Did you order the Code Red? You're goddamn right I did. So good. A Few Good Men, number 2.
Dude, you're so ready for the big screen. Number 2, When Harry Met Sally, 1989. Honest conversations,
You've
guys,
never seen this movie.
About relationships.
You've never seen this movie.
One of the top 10 romantic comedies of all time. It's the blueprint for every smart generational rom-com that followed.
You have not seen this movie.
Women as equals. 1989, When Harry Met Sally.
Be honest. The only movie on this list you've seen is The Bucket List.
I've seen 3 of the 5. Pump the brakes. This might be one of the 2.
No way you've seen this.
Number 1.
Iconic movies in the 80s? No, I'm out. NBA on NBC?
By the way, I also did both. I don't know if you know this. I grew up in Chicago during the Jordan era of the 90s. So.
Oh, you did both?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't have a lot of screen time.
Number 1's This Is Spinal Tap. It had to be a comedy for me at number 1. And this is one of my all-time favorites with Christopher Guest, who went on to make some incredible movies. But Spinal Tap is so good. It's so funny. It's so real. It's no, but this one goes to 11. Spinal Tap, number 1. You've never seen Spinal Tap.
So many one-liners. Like this
He's in character.
He is. He is.
We lost a legend, man.
No, I know. Crushed it. All right, A Few Good Men. You went over all the stuff. Have seen that one, by the way. Did $243 million worldwide. Multiple Oscars. That's my number 1. There we have it. Our power rankings. We did it.
Rest in peace, Rob Reiner.
Wait, so can I guess the other one you have not seen in your list?
On my list, yeah, go for it.
Your list had the bucket list you've definitely seen.
I had two that I haven't seen.
That has James written all over it.
I think it's pretty clear, right?
What was number 4?
Number 4 for me was Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay, yeah. You've not seen When Harry Met Sally or Sleepless in Seattle.
No, I've seen that one. Haven't seen The Princess Bride.
No, but that wasn't on your list.
Yeah, it was. It was number 3.
Oh, I missed it. Okay.
It was number 3. That's where we got started. All right, let's get to know some of these Texas Tech potential opponents in the college football playoff. We're talking football coming up next. He's Ari. I'm James. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, brought to you by Modelo. Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo.
How do I get Christmas music?
This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league.
How do I get Christmas
The
music?
only Christmas music that you get today was what I played before we went on the air live, and this.
Got it. And this. I want Christmas music bumpers. Is that possible? Can we do Christmas music bumpers?
I like this one, Taman. Nice pull.
I try.
Quality pull.
Can we do Christmas music bumpers?
Quality
pull. How is that possible?
Ari has a request. Can it happen?
I'd have to make
If you
them.
don't, if we don't have a Christmas music bumper coming back from the next break, Ari's going to burn your house down.
Oh, that
He is angry.
That wouldn't be very.
I'm going to burn everybody's house down.
Mine too.
The wife would be very upset.
Is
It's our
insured?
biggest investment.
So, this is good. College football playoff, man. It's almost
As much
here.
as I love slow motion.
Doesn't fit the season.
'Tis the season, guys. What are we doing here?
In my brain, I was trying to come up with a funny one-liner for slow motion and how fast it wasn't working. I punted. Like last second, just punted. You ever do that? You have this. You're working so hard in your brain to come up with a line. It's just not hitting. You just completely gloss over it. Move on to the next thing. It's like, no, I'm not going to say that. It'd be really dumb. All right, so we know that Texas Tech's going to
All the
have-
time.
All the time?
All the time.
Really? It's
Yeah.
a thing? Man, that's so good to know. We are so the same. So Texas Tech's going to play either Oregon or James Madison in the first round of the college football playoff. And then they'll get whoever Indiana plays if they get past Oregon or James Madison, Alabama, Oklahoma, Indiana, Oregon. Those are kind of the four teams that I've started to dive into. Oregon's better than I thought. Like Oregon's
How good did you think they were?
I didn't think they were that good. Light schedule, like your biggest win is a road win at Penn State when Penn State was top 5 in the country. If you're watching us on Big 12 Studios, they've got the college football playoff bracket, so you can kind of see the path for Texas Tech.
Yeah, they're going to play Oregon and they're going to play Indiana. I'm just going to lay it out for you.
I'm not so sure.
You want to put some money on that?
Yeah, I think so. Got to look at the spread.
All right, how about this? If I'm right, you have to watch The Princess Bride 4 times in one day.
And when Harry met Sally
No,
back to back.
No, Princess Bride 4 times in one day.
4 times in one day.
I'll watch it with you once.
Repeat. Okay, so if
Then think of the other side if I win.
all right, so if we get a
And
Texas
you
Tech
actually have to
Indiana
do this now.
like actually do it? Okay, so
Actually have to do this if I win.
this is if we get a Texas Tech Indiana matchup.
Correct.
And if it's any other matchup, I win the bet.
Yep.
I'm taking the field.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
What do I have to do?
Let's go. I'll think of some things.
Okay.
I'll think of some things.
But actually do that so that we can actually have this bet paid off, unlike any other bet we've ever made.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need to bring our bets more in-house. You know, stuff we can do here on the air.
Isn't that literally what we were just doing?
Yeah, no. I mean, like the payoff.
Got it.
Like I can't sit here and watch a movie for 4 hours.
I'd say for
8,
4 hours. I
whatever it
said
would be.
4 times.
4 times. How long is the movie?
Couple hours.
Okay. That's a good day. That's a full day. That's a full day. So Oregon's best win was at Penn State when Penn State was number 3, right? Then they lost to Indiana the next week. Past that, they played Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, USC, Washington. How they have a stronger strength of schedule blows my mind over Texas Tech. I'll never know. But like the Ken Palm of college football, the efficiencies, Oregon's top 5 in the country offensively and defensively. They're a very efficient football team. They have a lot of depth. Dante Moore at quarterback. They've got 3 running backs at averaging over 6 yards per carry. I think their offensive line is really underrated. There's only one common opponent between the two, and that was Oklahoma State. They played Oklahoma State in the non-conference, beat them 69-3. Texas Tech was up, 42-0 at halftime, so they blew them out as well.
Not going to learn much about either of those teams based
From
on
that
the common
game.
opponent. Yeah.
But the wide receiver depth, and again, I think Oregon's defense is better maybe than they're getting credit for under Dan Lanning. It's a scary matchup is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yes. And I think Oregon, similar to Indiana in that, they're elite on offense and on defense. Oregon is a team that you've got to make some splash plays on defense against, which, yeah, right, obviously. Against any team, you need to do that. But they need to be in third and manageable, and that's where they live. I mean, they are traditionally in third and short most of the games, which is why their offense becomes explosive. If you have them in 3rd and 6 plus, I think they're going to have a really tough time. I don't think they're a big play offense that way. And look, I mean, they are. You mentioned the depth. Like, they lost Evan Stewart before the season started. They lost, their top pass catcher as a true freshman. They lost Gary Bryant, another one of their top pass catchers, and they've lost those guys since October, and it hasn't really bothered them. So you wonder if at some point that does come back to bite them a little bit. The other thing to think about, too, is Will Stein, the offensive coordinator of Oregon's taken over at Kentucky.
Great, no.
So is their defensive coordinator. Tosh Lupoi is taken over at James Madison. So you've got 2 coordinators in this game that are in it, but have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I mean, already Will Stein is putting together his staff at Kentucky. He's got some guys he's bringing with Oregon with him. So, I expect Dan Lanning to have it organized and everything, but I also think, like, there's probably an overconfidence level because everybody thinks Texas Tech's not as good as they actually are.
Yeah.
And they're going to go and run roughshod over JMU, and then they're going to be very confident going into that Texas Tech game, and I think Texas Tech will knock them down a peg or two.
And Dante Moore, his worst game was against Indiana. The Oregon passing game really struggled in that matchup.
Yeah.
They haven't played a defense even close to Texas Tech outside of that game.
Right, and that's where I go back to the 3rd and short thing, where, like, they've just lived there because they've played defenses that will allow them to live there based on their running game and their passing game. I think Texas Tech defensively introduces some wrinkles that force some 3rd and longs that put them in uncomfortable situations. I don't know how good of a quarterback Dante Moore is. He's looked really good within the scope of this offense, but sometimes it's hard to tell how good the offense truly is because they're feasting on bad defenses that haven't really forced the issue on them, and I think that they're going to against Texas Tech, obviously.
He's also still really young, right? He's only been playing for a couple of years. He's a either redshirt freshman or true sophomore, transferred from UCLA, and I see when it comes to the Oregon passing attack, a lot of parallels between Oregon and BYU. Like, it's efficient, but it's not really explosive compared to the other elite college football offenses out there. And then the other thing, like the Oregon rushing defense, there are some holes there. They're not elite when it comes to like 3rd and medium and 3rd and shorts, which means it could be a big day for Dickey, the Texas Tech running back. Oregon, Texas Tech, maybe in the college football playoff if Oregon does what we think they'll do against James Madison. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio.
It's got to be more than once. Okay, maybe 4 times is excessive, but losing a bet watching The Princess Bride is ridiculous. So there's got to be an element to it that's uncomfortable. Maybe twice. The likelihood of you actually doing that is 0%.
I'd put it at 0.5, as I would Texas Tech playing Indiana.
So don't take the bet then.
I'm taking the bet. I am taking.
Not if you're not going to pay up.
I'm taking the bet. Taking the bet.
All right, let's just do $100 American then.
I like that better. That sounds better.
Still can't believe you haven't watched The Princess Bride. I don't think very highly of you already, and man, this makes it even worse.
Clearly. Ari is choosing violence today. I blame Darren Peterson. Okay. Coming up next, more Big 12 basketball.
I blame the Christmas music.
The Christmas music and Darren Peterson.
Where's the Christmas music?
Not a good Wednesday. All right. Get off my lawn energy today. I'm here for it. He's Ari. I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio. Great job, Taman. We're all safe.
We're almost there.
Little Christmas music. 'Tis the season. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, I've never wanted to hear Aerosmith less.
Ari's in the Christmas spirit.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm the only one.
I'm
I don't know how I'm the only one.
I'm Holly and Jolly. I'm in the Christmas spirit. I'm right there with you.
You're neither Holly nor Jolly. Maybe Jolly.
Is this why you've got the red J's on today?
I mean, I'm in this crisp. I'm not wearing green. I will say that. So,
You gonna dress up like a Christmas tree on Friday? On Cash Friday?
maybe. Yeah,
I think you should.
maybe. Yeah.
Definitely. He's already.
Definitely going to put some mistletoe in the studio.
I bet you are.
See how that develops.
Believe it. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. We've got T-Chains on the controls, Taman Turner, Anthony Smith producing on the Big 12 Studios side. Big12studios.com, where you can find a full list of where to find us on your screen. Coming up this hour, we have Chris Vanini from The Athletic. He's got transfer portal updates. What's going on with Brendan Sorsby? His girlfriend's committing to Texas Tech. Does that mean Sorsby's on his way? Just all the things surrounding college football. Missouri head coach Eli Drinkowitz and what he said yesterday about the state of college football with the College Sports Commission. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, Eli Drinkowitz. He's kind of he's like tiptoeing around what the solution is here. We know what the solution is. He talked for 3.5 minutes and tried to complain about everything going on, and then basically brought up the solution, but sort of then deviated from the solution. We know what the solution is, guys. We'll get into that coming up. It's an obvious solution. It's in bright, bold letters, neon sign just flashing.
Let's hear that clip. Taman, play that clip. Missouri head coach Eli Drinkowitz.
No, there's a lot of coaches discussing it and frustrated, in my opinion. And I understand the national sentiment because of the salary ranges of head coaches that it feels like we're complaining, but we're really not. We're trying to sound warning bells, and that's that's what I believe we're all trying to do. Is that there's a warning that the system that we're in is really sick right now, and college football is sick, and not in a. It's just there's showing signs of this thing really cracking moving forward. And we need to get something under control. The SCORE Act was something that it looked like it was going to be a step in a direction. There is no perfect solution, but we have to get some sort of steps moving in that direction. I think we're all weighted with, is it bated breath, the saying, trying to wait on what's going to happen with this fifth-year lawsuit in Nashville, where you could have a flurry of fifth-year guys now being eligible. And that would just throw a completely new wrinkle in the system. Tampering is at, the highest levels. There is no such thing as tampering. It's just because there's nobody that's been punished for tampering. And so everybody on my roster is being called. I had a dad call me and say that, and I called the head coaches at their schools, that this school and this school and this school called, and they are offering this much money. And, it's you're putting a lot of pressure on young men. We're paying them as 1099 employees a lot of money. We're not offering any type of retirement. We're not offering any type of health benefits. And it's we've worked around the system and then tried to create that as the system instead of creating a functioning way of moving forward and making sure that it works for everybody. And whether that's collective bargaining, whether that's making them employees, whether that's antitrust legislation that protects everybody, the commissioner or the SEC or the NCAA from lawsuits, something needs to be done. Because, again, TV viewership may be at an all-time high, and that's awesome. And gambling on sports may be at an all-time high, and that's great. I got no problem with that. But what about the well-being of the student athlete? What about graduation rates? What about tax implications? What about handling and understanding financial literacy? What is their life going to look like after 5 years of college athletics? Is it going to be better because they participated in college athletics, or could they be in a tougher situation? And, that a lot of us got into college athletics because we wanted to help young men grow and develop. And I think we're still doing that mission, but it's getting really hard because you used to talk about, Coach Saban used to talk about all the time creating value for yourself. And when he talked about it, he wasn't just talking about value for the NFL. He was talking about creating value for yourself with a college degree. And we've lost that aspect of it. And these guys are going to create tremendous value for themselves playing the game of football, and that's awesome. And I love that these guys are getting paid. I love that last week these guys with their own money went out and bought gifts for Coyote Hill. I love that. That's awesome. But my job also is to look at them in 3 or 4 years down the road, and how many of them are in a better position because they've played football if they've transferred 4 times. And that's just the system that we've created. Not all freedom is good freedom.
All right, that is Missouri head football coach Eli Drinkwitz, another coach complaining about the system, saying we need solutions, but who's going to do it? Who's going to be the Chuck Ninus of this era of college football and come up with and actually put words into action and come up with a solution?
Well, he told us the solution.
He had one line in there that caught my ear. What was it?
Say it with me now. Collective bargaining. I was told the settlement was going to fix these things. Why would we settle if it wasn't going to fix these things? And here we have the settlement being implemented, and nothing seems to be fixed. Coaches are still complaining about the same things they were complaining about before the settlement came through. It's almost like there's not going to be legislation that's going to save them. It's almost like they need to treat the athletes as employees and collectively bargain. I'm not saying that that's best for athletes. I'm not saying that that's best for anybody. In fact, it's probably better for the schools than it is for the athletes themselves. But it's the only way to fix this. And he said it within his 3 minutes and 45-second rant.
Yep.
He said it.
Said one thing that actually mattered.
Yeah. The rest is a bunch of talking points that we've heard over and over and over and over again.
So many coaches.
Oh, Saban said, create value for yourself. And that value is created through a scholarship. Yeah, well, the compensation of a scholarship has increased at a level that is not commensurate with the value of the universities earning through their football programs. The business of football has grown like this. The scholarship value has not. And in fact, you could argue with college educations. Well, I wouldn't.
I mean, we're in this gray area when it comes to, especially when it comes to tampering, because tampering exists because nobody gets punished for doing it. There is nothing preventing teams from having a parent or an agent or whoever call another school and shop their services. Can you imagine like tampering existing in the NFL? Like, it doesn't exist in the NFL because these guys are under contract. They're under contract, and it's not a year-over-year contract. It doesn't renew at the end of every season like it does right now for most of these guys in college football. It is free agency for every single player every single year.
We're just going to continue to do this dance until everybody comes to the realization that the only way to fix this is through collective bargaining. Again, not suggesting it's easy, not suggesting that it's not good for that it's great for the players. It's probably not. Again, the situation right now, way better for the players. If you want some semblance of control, you want contracts you can enforce, what you need, and Utah's already done this. A lot of schools have already done this. Like, you have to separate the business of college football from the university. You create Utah Utes LLC. You create Kansas State Wildcats LLC, and that's part of your football program. And all of the employees funnel through that. He brings up, I mean, it's funny how the goodwill of the athletes only comes to the forefront when having these discussions.
When the athletes are being tampered with.
Yeah. When it negatively impacts the coach.
The coach, the team, the program.
All these guys are transferring so many times. Yeah, Eli, how many guys have you cut from your roster? That's happening.
Right.
Collectively bargaining. It's literally the only path forward.
And the players have the power. There's no doubt about that. There's no really enforceable rules right now. There's no, like we said, penalty for tampering. There's unlimited freedom and movement by the players.
Contracts are essentially one-sided. They're almost unenforceable because schools don't want to enforce them.
It's an open market with no contracts, no rules for the players. Now, the only thing that might hold a player back is their skill set, right? So if you're a really good player, you have more power than
Yep.
anything else, anything imaginable. But I think you're right. Schools, like, the more and more coaches that speak out against this, it's clear that they're getting tired of it. And I just think it's going to continue to boil over to a point where something has to happen. Like, that is ultimately what's going to tip this whole thing over the edge. And coaches stepping away from the game, like a Chris Kleiman, like a Kyle Whittingham,
Nick Saban,
a step in the right direction. We're
Mike
seeing it in
Krzyzewski, Roy Williams.
the basketball list is so long. Like, we could build a Mount Rushmore of basketball coaches that have stepped away and still need room for 4 or 5 others.
Jay Wright, yeah.
Tony Bennett,
Yeah.
so many. So with the roster turnover every year, with the development models being completely shattered because of all the roster turnover, the impossible task of budgeting and NIL, like, the schools are fed up. And eventually it's going to come to a point where they have to figure out a way to take the power back. And I think we're past that, right? Like,
Yeah.
collective bargaining is your best path.
You know how you take the power back? Collectively bargaining. It's the only path forward. It's literally how, in that comment, Eli Drinkwitz is talking about antitrust legislation. That's how the only way the NBA and Major League Baseball and NFL exist while not being a monopoly is because they collectively bargain in contract law between the Players Association and the owners. That's what you got to do. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or 5 years from now, right now the only way to take the power back from the athletes is to collectively bargain with them. That's it. It's that simple. There is no smoking gun legislation that's going to be handed down from the heavens or from Washington, D.C. that will save you. If you're waiting for that, you're going to be waiting a lot longer.
So we heard from Eli Drinkwitz. Now let's go out west and hear from Lincoln Riley, because Lincoln Riley talks a lot about how college football has become more like the NFL. Let's hear his thoughts.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think that's something that should be celebrated. It's. I think in this day and age, again, it's almost more like an NFL team. It's like it's an accomplishment to be welcomed back, and then on top of that, when you do have that option, it's something that should be celebrated by a school or a program that somebody wants to continue, on what's being built or what they've, already started at that place. So, yeah, we've tried to obviously feature kind of those guys first, some of the guys that have been here, with us here for a while, and excited about them. So, yeah, it's changed so much, on all counts. It's changed a lot for the players. It's obviously changed a lot for us, but yeah, still seeing so many of those guys that come back and see what we're doing and kind of want to be part of that last push. It's pretty cool.
USC, again, they are the school that has just gone all in with contract extensions. They've leaned into these are contracts, these are extensions, but what are the extensions? Like, it's a 1-year deal? Is it a 2-year deal? Is it a 3-year deal? It's the NFL without it being the NFL.
Yeah, and again, they are enforceable contracts. It's just that we haven't seen universities to the degree that they're being, ripped up, for lack of a better way to put it. Every year you're a free agent. If you sign a 2 or 3 year deal, and then the next year you say, "Well, they're offering me this," yeah, but you have a contract. Oh, okay, cool, sweet. See you in court.
Right.
Or pay me more. That's just kind of what the deal is.
Email me.
These schools don't want to be suing their athletes.
Right.
I get it.
It's a PR nightmare.
It's a PR nightmare. It costs a lot of money. It's not. Nobody wants to do it.
All of it.
In some egregious situations, they're willing to do it, but in most cases, they're not. Say it with me now. Collective bargaining. There we go.
CB. CV, Chris Vanini, senior writer from The Athletic, is going to join us here in about 15 or 20 minutes. We're talking bowl games. It's the Coca-Cola Bowl season coming up next year on Big 12 Today. What is the must-watch bowl game outside of the college football playoff featuring Big 12 teams? He's Ari, I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio. Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. We are powered by Modelo. Modelo fan rule number 19. Losses count as character development. Losses count as character development. We are building character every time our team loses. Modelo fan rule number 21. You must say, run the damn ball. At least twice per game. T-Chains, Taman Turner on the controls. He's Ari Timken on social at Ari Sports. That's ARI Sports. I'm James Westling on social at James Westling. And we've got Anthony Smith producing on the Big 12 Studios side. Those are your Modelo fan rules. We've got Chris Vanini from The Athletic joining us here in about 13 minutes. He notes that, did you watch the Jacksonville State-Troy bowl game last night? Were you on the edge of your seat for that one?
Glued to it, yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't miss it.
Didn't Jacksonville State play Troy in the conference championship?
No, Troy played James Madison.
Thank you.
I see why that's confusing. Jacksonville State played Kennesaw State.
Yep. Okay, that's Conference USA. Mm-hmm. The Sun Belt Championship, different leagues. Same difference, but different leagues. Sorry.
So you've got the historic, league rivalry between the Conference USA and the Sun Belt battling last night. Jacksonville State beat Troy 17-13 in the Salute to Veterans Bowl, and there was a last-second Hail Mary that was almost caught.
Wow.
Yeah, according to Chris Vanini. Pretty electric stuff. All right, it's bowl season. Sometimes we moderate. Sometimes we talk college football bowl games. All right, what's the best bowl for Big 12 teams outside of Texas Tech? So Houston plays LSU. TCU plays USC. Arizona State plays Duke. And then Arizona plays SMU. And Utah plays Nebraska. Arizona plays SMU. There are some BYU and Georgia Tech in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. There are some big brands playing these Big 12 teams. But do bowls matter? Does this get you excited about bowl season? Are there things that these teams can use to springboard them into next season? Because it used to be hey, you make a bowl game, you get an entire month extra of practice to ramp up going into the spring, into the summer, and into next season. And it used to be, hey, if you had guys that really shined in the bowl game, moving forward, you feel pretty good about your season next year. Now it's are these guys even going to be back here? How many of these guys playing in this bowl game are going to be in the portal?
Well, I think you've got to treat a bowl game for what it is, which is not a springboard into next season, because I don't even know what that means. How do you quantify that? What does that mean? Dylan Edwards had 500 yards rushing in his bowl game last year, and what kind of a springboard was that into next season?
Yeah.
It's a great talking point. I think coaches love to say that, but there's no substance to it, and I don't know how to define it. What does that even mean? What does that mean? But what they are, they're fun exhibition games that pit two teams that had good seasons against one another and really intriguing matchups. And I think there's a lot of those. Did they give us an indication of what the team could look like? No, I don't think so. I think it's few and far between in those situations. I think it's more about what the game is. It's a fun game. It's the last opportunity for those two teams to strap it up, and it's fun bragging rights. It's nothing beyond that. And then, of course, when the team loses, you say, well, we didn't have this guy, or this guy didn't play, or that guy didn't play. I think it's obvious what the best bowl in the Big 12 is outside of Texas Tech, which is the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Would have been even better for the Pop-Tarts Bowl to feature BYU versus Notre Dame, considering sort of the history this season between those two programs and how they were constantly compared to one another. But Notre Dame backed out and doesn't want to play, avoiding BYU. Let's call it what it is, avoiding BYU. They don't want to get embarrassed by BYU. Instead, I like Georgia Tech stepping in. Georgia Tech's had a really good season. So it should be a fun matchup there at the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah. I'm not super excited about seeing Georgia Tech again. They already played Colorado in the non-conference. BYU, Georgia Tech, I expect BYU to win that game. They're highly motivated, as they are in any bowl game that they play in. That one, for me, doesn't move the needle as much as Miami, Iowa State, like we saw last year in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I'm pumped up about the Texas Bowl with Houston and LSU. I know LSU is a mess with Brian Kelly out and Lane Kiffin in, but something about Houston and LSU and the proximity piece of it, the fact that it's in Houston, I think it's a huge opportunity for the Cougars to show that they belong on that stage. And Kansas State played LSU in a bowl game the next season, and K-State played really well, and it was similar. Like LSU had a bunch of guys sitting out, a bunch of guys getting ready for the NFL draft. LSU didn't really care to be there, and K-State pounded them. And it springboarded them, number one, it springboarded them to a Big 12 championship the next season, and really was the launch point of Colin Klein's career. Now, I'm not saying those same things are all going to be true for Houston, but I love that matchup.
Yeah. I mean, I also love TCU USC. The Alamo Bowl traditionally is a really good bowl game and has been a high-level, close bowl game. I mean, it's legendary in terms of, like, I don't know what the stat is, but something along the lines of, like, the games are always close. And there's, like, an actual stat to back that up. So I'm intrigued by that one. It's
Like
also,
an actual stat?
yeah, where it's, like, every Alamo Bowl, or, like, there was a 10-year period where every Alamo Bowl was decided by, like, 3 points or less.
Like a real stat,
yeah.
not one that we just make off the fly.
Kind of just did, I think. So, you'll have to stat check me on that one.
Stat check me. That's
At
amazing.
one point when I lived in San Antonio, there was a stretch of games.
I believe you. I love that you said it's like an actual stat.
I said it without
It's
any
a
conviction
real
whatsoever.
stat.
I said it without any conviction whatsoever. Feels like the Alamo Bowl is always a good game, okay? Anecdotally, the ones that I've seen or been to have been really good games.
Yeah, they're good games. They're good games. Agree with you there. Now, how do we make bowl season more exciting? Taman just told me during the break that he doesn't think that players should be getting paid.
Well, let me clarify what I said. I said when I was in college, I was not a fan of players getting paid, even though they probably got paid under the table. But I was basically saying that there are non-athletes who contribute to the university. Now, Ari brought up a good point earlier in the show that he said, yes, they don't bring, the revenue that like a football program does. It brings in, and I get that. I think that's valid. But one thing I don't like with the way that money has being flowed nowadays is that it takes away from great college stories. Players can transfer anytime they want. I brought up during the break, you look back in the 80s and 90s, even early 2000s, like Michael Jordan, for example, went to North Carolina, and he had a story there. Like, now, what is the story? Sam Levitt's leaving. Brandon Sorsby's leaving. For a fan, sports are about stories, and I don't like the fact that, you play all season, you develop some type of chemistry, and then Brandon Sorsby leaves. And for Cincinnati, it's like, okay, where do we go? I don't like that aspect of it. I don't think that's cool. You get paid. I get it. I'm not going to fault you for that. But at the same time, I feel like the way that college sports is now, we are being robbed of great sports stories.
Okay, so what are you arguing here? Because it started with arguing against athletes being paid, and then you said because there are other students that bring value to the university. I could argue that. You're arguing instead, though. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm arguing, and then therefore what James is moderating as the moderator. We know that James is the king of moderation.
The king, the best moderator west of the Mississippi.
Everything moderation. James lives a life of moderation.
I love to moderate. It's what I'm here for. My best skill set.
You're very good at it. No,
Thanks, Taman.
No denying it. No, what I am arguing is that we need to have a better system in place to where college sports creates a better storyline. I don't like the notion that Notre Dame doesn't get to play in a bowl game because they don't want to. You played all season. You got a lot of money playing the goddamn bowl game. Well, I don't care if that's Notre Dame. I don't care if it's Baylor. Baylor had a bad season. So what? Play in the doggone game. There's a lot of fans who paid money to go and see you guys. You're getting paid a lot of money. I don't think that there should be an option that you get to just opt out because times get hard.
So your biggest beef with college sports as it sits here today is that the fan-driven, player-driven storylines are getting lost in NIL and the transfer portal.
It's not fair.
Or
It's not-
are
it's-
the
it's-
stories just different now, like a Texas Tech rise with their transfer portal class?
I'm happy that Texas Tech is rising, and that's a great story. But I feel bad for Cincinnati and Arizona State, who had pretty good seasons for the most part. And now, if you're a fan of those two schools, you don't know what your team's going to look like next season.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely some truth to that. However, there's no credible evidence that suggests that people aren't still tuning in. The numbers bear a completely different story in terms of the ratings overall. I mean, television ratings have never been higher for any of these sports. So despite the fact that there is no continuity within rosters every year, year over year, people are still tuning in and watching and consuming. And they care more about the names in the front of the jersey than they do the back of the jersey. Like, it's a point that I think is often stated, but yet not backed up by any sort of empirical data or evidence, because people just complain about it, and yet, like, people are still watching.
People do complain. People also watch. TV numbers are through the roof.
True. I don't think anyone's going to not watch a game. I mean, sports fans love a good championship game. They love to watch a game that's for a school or a team that's having a great season. But with that said, you know, I'm looking in the long-term notion of, again, let's take BYU for example. They had a great season. Yeah, they got screwed over by the CFP. Is their bowl game going to be heavily watched? I don't think so. Had they made the college football playoff, maybe we'd be talking something differently.
Maybe. Here's the numbers. ESPN Networks finished this past season with their most watched college football regular season since 2011, up 14% year over year. ABC had its most viewed college football season since 2006. And across all the networks, college football's regular season finished as the most watched since 2016. That's the data. He's Ari. I'm James. Coming up next, Chris Vanini from The Athletic, talking transfer portal, all things happening in college football. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo, watched on Big 12 Studios.
It is first
Back inside Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo, a Wednesday edition. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league on TuneIn and on Big 12 Studios. And we first met Chris Vannini from The Athletic back in May in Orlando at the Big 12 Spring Meetings. He joins us here on the program. Hey, Chris, what's up?
Hey, guys, good to be here.
Man, excited to have you with us again. Just want to talk college football as a whole and some of the headlines. We haven't touched yet on the ACC and their scheduling announcement yesterday. So they're going to have some teams that'll play 9 ACC games next year, and then they're going to have some teams that'll play just 8 ACC games. Like, how in the world is that going to work, and what are their tiebreakers going to look like?
Well, the tiebreakers are yet to be determined. After in the summer, I think it was the SEC said they would go to 9 conference games, and the ACC wanted to follow suit. The problem was that some teams had non-conference schedules they couldn't get out of, various things, and you have a 17-team conference, so the math doesn't work. So what they've come up with, a bit of a surprise to me, is that 12 teams will play 9 games next year, and 5 will play 8. And then beginning in 2027, 16 will play 9 and 1 will play 8, because you can't have everybody play 9. The math doesn't work out with an odd number of teams. So, and along with that, you got to play 10 Power 4 games. So if you're only playing 9 conference games, you're playing 2 Power 4 opponents extra as well. As for those tiebreakers, they haven't announced that yet. They said they will announce new tiebreakers ahead of the 2026 season. I reached out to ask, hey, what happens if you have, a 7-2 team and a 6-2 team, and one of them has to go to the championship game? And that is also still to be determined, because technically, if you just go by winning percentage, the 7-2 team would go. But what if you have a bunch of teams in that mix and they didn't play each other either? So they appear to still be figuring that out.
Last night, news came about that Texas Tech was extending James Blanchard, their GM. At the same time, offensive coordinator Matt Laftowich, Sheil Wood, their defensive coordinator, their special teams coordinator Kenny Perry also got extensions. Is this the model for the Big 12 for Big 12 schools to follow, or are the rest of the Big 12 schools 1 or 2 billionaires shy of that?
Well, yes, it's the model to follow if you have the money to do it, for sure. I mean, Sheil Wood has been one of the best defense coordinators in the country. He's a finalist for the Broyles Award, very good hire, and for Texas Tech to be able to keep him now moving forward is a very big get. And same with James Blanchard, the GM, who other schools came after a year ago, and Texas Tech was able to keep him. So, yeah, this is the model. This is what Brett Yormark talks about when he says we need our schools to invest, and if you invest, the winning will come. It's one of the reasons he didn't want to do the extra auto bid playoff model, because he said we want to have all the at-larges and make sure we earn that, and that also motivates our schools to invest at what it takes to win at that level. And Texas Tech did that. It does help to have an oil billionaire. This is the second year in a row. We saw SMU do it last year, Texas Tech this year. So if you have one of those laying around, it would be good to call them up. But overall, Texas Tech is still, they're not outspending, Oregon and Ohio State and all this kind of stuff. They're spending at what the top schools are spending. And that is what ultimately everybody needs to do. Now, are they paying above market maybe for some players? Yes, because they've had to, because they don't have the tradition. They don't have, hey, we're sending 5 guys to the NFL every year. Come here. You have to pay a premium. That's just how business works. And this is an investment paying off.
Talking with Chris Vannini from The Athletic, Texas Tech built their roster through the portal, and there's a couple of big-name quarterbacks, one from the Big 12 in the portal with Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati. Also want to ask you about Drew Mestemaker, the quarterback at North Texas, with Eric Morris taking the head coaching job at Oklahoma State. Do either of those guys or both of those guys play in the Big 12 next season? What are you hearing, and just what does your gut say?
It's very possible. I mean, Texas Tech has, Will Hammond coming back next year, but he tore his ACL. So what is the status of that? We don't know. Texas Tech has not they haven't wanted to make it look like they're just out there looking to grab somebody, because I think they're kind of waiting to see as well, and you maybe don't want to scare Will Hammond off either if you are going to grab somebody. But Sorsby is from Dallas. Mestemaker's from Texas as well, plays at North Texas. The quarterback portal market's going to be very, very interesting, because you're going to have some schools with a lot of money that are interested in quarterbacks. Miami, once again, that Cam Ward was a transfer. Carson Beck was a transfer. They're probably going to want another one again. LSU is going to need a quarterback. Does Lane Kiffin go out and get somebody? Indiana, they got Fernando Mendoza from Cal next year. Brendan Sorsby played at Indiana before he transferred to Cincinnati. Could he come back to Indiana potentially? Drew Mestemaker, do you follow your head coach Eric Morris up to Oklahoma State? Very possible, but he's also going to command a lot of money. A lot of these quarterbacks are going to be in like the $3-4 million range, and that's more than North Texas's whole roster was this year. So Drew Mestemaker is getting a pretty big raise this offseason, and deservedly so. So looking across the league, there are some teams that will need quarterbacks. Arizona State, what do? Sam Levitt, you've lost him. But if you lost him, you may not have the means to get one of the top quarterbacks to replace him anyway. So Texas Tech is one to watch for sure. But how is Will Hammond progressing, and how comfortable do you feel with him? Because to be able to get him and keep him has been a pretty big deal for them as well.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting, too, specific to Oklahoma State, because it feels like Mestemaker makes a ton of sense for Oklahoma State, given his background with Eric Morris. But also, does Oklahoma State need to spend $3 million on a quarterback when Eric Morris has shown in his career that, it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is? Because,
Mestemaker was a walk-on. Drew Mestemaker was a walk-on, so it's do you trust Eric Morris's ability to find quarterbacks? Cam Ward, for him at Incarnate Word as well. So you can kind of judge that too, but I think you look at Drew Mestemaker and you see a guy like this guy's an NFL quarterback. The size, the zip, the way he can move the ball around. There's not going to be a lot of guys who can do what he can do, and if you can get him, you probably would rather get him than not.
Yeah, Eric Morris said that Mestemaker makes throws that he's only seen Patrick Mahomes make, and Drew Mestemaker wasn't even the starting quarterback for his high school team in Austin, Texas. When he started at North Texas in their bowl game last year, he had not started a game till since ninth grade, starting for the freshman team at his high school. Eric Morris can find a needle in a haystack when it comes to that position.
Yeah, clearly. Drew Mestemaker, that's part of the reason I think Drew Mestemaker fell through the cracks, because you look at him in prototypical size and everything you'd like there, but he just didn't make the field, so there wasn't much tape and everything else to work with. You end up in North Texas and you find a gem. So it sounds like he's going to play in the bowl game too, which is pretty cool. Pretty well, because a year ago, nobody knew who he was. He played in the bowl game because Chandler Morris was leaving North Texas. And so this Drew Mestemaker guy comes in. They play Texas State. He has an unbelievable game. He's puking in the garbage can during the game, late in the game, as they try to make a comeback. And now, his salary is about to go up, $3.5 million potentially.
I'm curious, Chris, for your overall thoughts on how the playoff will play out relative to the coaching changes. And, obviously Ole Miss is one. How do you think that goes with Pete Golding? Oregon is going to be losing both their offensive and defensive coordinator. You've got Will Stein, who's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out of Kentucky. Do you think that will play a role in this? We see this being held off in the NFL where, coaches don't take jobs officially until after they're out and eliminated. But how do you think this plays out in college football, where guys are already taking jobs and starting in those jobs, especially Will Stein's case?
I don't think it'll play much of an impact in the first round, but I think it could in the second round and moving forward, because, Ole Miss doesn't have its head coach. Tulane has a coach on the way out. But the talent level in that game is pretty lopsided.
Yeah.
In Oregon, you've got 2 coordinators at Oregon on their way out and a James Madison head coach on his way out. Talent differential there. But when you move forward and say you have an Ole Miss with a new coach going against Georgia, say you have an Oregon going against a Texas Tech, and that's right around New Year's, and the portal officially opens January 2nd, then you're going to have a lot more on the plate as the coaches. They actually haven't had a lot on their plate right now. A lot of schools have had finals this week or last week. Signing day's over. Guys are preparing to go in the portal, and you're having those conversations, yes. But guys can't start signing yet. They will be right after the quarterfinals on New Year's. So that is when I wonder if the timeline for what these new coaches are going to be doing maybe starts to have more of an effect.
Talking with Chris Vannini from The Athletic here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Chris, who do you think is going to be coaching at Michigan next season?
That is hard to say. It really is. Kenny Dillingham receives interest through channels, understandably. He doesn't want to leave, but he needs Arizona State to give him more of a reason not to leave. He loves it there, but he just lost his quarterback, Sam Leavitt. It'd be nice for him if he could keep his top players on his team to try to compete at the highest level of the sport. Michigan can give you that. So it's understandable why he doesn't just immediately come out and say, no, I'm not leaving, because that's part of negotiating. You don't want to just give up your leverage. Could he leave? Could he stay? I'd say it's more likely he stays, but these things can change. I think Jedd Fisch made a lot of sense, the Washington coach, because he formerly coached there at Michigan. But then there's some other possibilities. PJ Fleck at Minnesota. He's coached at Western Michigan before. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. Maybe Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. Jeff Brom at Louisville hasn't signed his contract extension yet. Or it could really go off the board. I mean, it's Michigan. It is a very, very top job. It's the kind of job that can surprise you with somebody out of nowhere and totally shake up the coaching carousel again. Similar to, 4 years ago when LSU hired Brian Kelly and USC hired Lincoln Riley. Nobody saw any of those two coming. Yeah. So I think something like that is still possible.
Chris Vannini from The Athletic joining us here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Chris, always great to catch up. Awesome insight. We appreciate your time, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Chris.
See you, Chris. Chris Vannini from The Athletic here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Brought to you by Modelo, exclusively on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios. A lot to unpack there from Chris Vannini, the senior writer for The Athletic. What was your main takeaway?
Well, Kenny Dillingham has been the Vegas favorite to be the head coach, I think, at 3 different spots so far this offseason, including Michigan. It's clear that the rest of the country has caught up with how good of a coach Kenny Dillingham is, and for good reason. I also don't think it's crazy to think that he could take the Michigan job. He wants to stay at Arizona State, but can they keep him?
Right.
And maybe if they survive this round, this stuff happens every year, guys. Right? LSU's already hired 2 coaches now in the span of 3 years. Michigan, same thing.
If it's not Michigan this year, maybe it's USC next year.
Right.
It's Texas the year after. It could be anybody.
These big school, the patience is slim. I mean, you're right. It's crazy to think that Texas would move on from Sark, but you lost the semifinals last year. You don't make the playoffs this year. You
miss the playoffs next year with Arch coming back?
I also don't think it's crazy to think that Lincoln Riley could be out at USC after this next year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. These rumors aren't going anywhere. And we heard it from Kenny Dillingham. He told us he wants to go somewhere, like all coaches, to win a national title. And if he's not getting the things that he needs to win a national title at Arizona State, then he might leave. Now, with that being said, I think he's looking for every reason to stay, but he's also using his leverage because even and we'll talk with Chris Cartman about this coming up, even in his statements, he's leaving it open-ended. He didn't say, I'm going to be at Arizona State forever.
Right. Yeah, it's been a PR masterclass from Kenny Dillingham. And the way
dude is smart.
Yeah.
It's impressive. He is an impressive dude.
Coming up next on Big 12 Today, we are going through our all Big 12 today, all conference teams. Ari has his. I have mine. We started with quarterbacks, then we did running backs, and then we did receivers, offensive linemen. That brings us to wrap up the offensive side of the football, tight ends. Top 3 tight ends in the Big 12 coming up next before We talk with Chris Cartman from Sun Devil Source. He's been all over this Dillingham stuff. Cannot wait to get his insight here in about 20 minutes on Big 12 Today, powered by Modelo on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. Big 12 Today here on Big 12 Radio. Heard exclusively on TuneIn. Yeah, we podcast. We podcast here on Big 12 Today. So if you missed Chris Vanini from The Athletic, you can find that interview coming up soon on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or right here, TuneIn on demand. Just a couple of bros talking Big 12 here on a Wednesday edition of Big 12 Today. By the way, there's a big basketball game tonight. Arizona State, they will be tested at UCLA. That's a true road game for the Sun Devils tonight at 10:30 Eastern Time. It starts at 9:30 Central on FS1.
I can tell you're going to be up late to watch that game.
There is a chance that I would make it to the second media timeout of the first half, around 9:45 or so. So
I love how you gave it a chance.
there's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance. Wife's got some Christmas party or something going on. I don't know if I don't think I'm invited. So, just me and the pets watching a little Arizona State UCLA.
Ooh, going to be a late night tonight.
It's going to get wild.
Yeah.
Yep. Buckle up is what I say. Okay. We've been working through our all Big 12 teams. We've gone through almost the entire offense. We do a first team, a second team, and a third team. And we don't do like a traditional all-conference team with 5 offensive linemen and 18 receivers and 4 running backs. We just do 1 at each position. And today we're doing tight ends. So we've got our first team, our second team, and our third team tight ends. So, Ari Timken, who is your all Big 12 third team tight end?
Can I just really quickly say, what happened to Joe Royer this year?
He got hurt. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. Thank
Oh,
you.
he got hurt. He was in and out of the lineup. He had a couple of big games in the non-conference. Then,
Hey,
yeah,
so I was wondering if he got hurt because I feel like I remember him in conference play. Yeah.
but he played in. Okay, he did not. He did get hurt. I know that for a fact. He still played in all 12 games, so he didn't miss significant time.
You said it with conviction in a way
Man,
that
I thought he missed at least 2
Bought
or
it.
3 games.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I don't remember him being
All right.
hurt, but okay.
So do you have him on your list?
No.
Neither do I.
Like, what happened to him?
But he still had like over 400 yards, averaged almost 15 yards per carry, but his receptions were way down because of the emergence of Cyrus Allen and some of those other weapons that they had.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd frame it.
Interesting.
Interesting. I disagree and I don't care.
Number 3 for me is Terrence Carter, the tight end for Texas Tech, who did miss some time this season, but still managed to put up 43 receptions, 530 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's a dude. This is an NFL tight end. And I think we're going to see in a few years from now how many NFL players are on this Texas Tech roster after Texas Tech gets its way to the national championship game. I'm calling it today. Texas Tech is going to play for the national championship this year.
Dude, I think so
I'm
too.
not going to call that they're going to win it. I'm not going to go that far, but they're going to play for the national title this year. And Terrence Carter is one of those dudes that's going to help them get there. 48 yards receiving per game. He was a good outlet for Baron Morton. They had a great short game with their running backs, with the underneath stuff with their running backs, the passing game. And then, of course, they got Reggie Virgil and Caleb Douglas down the field. Carter was the intermediate guy underneath, would really turn water into wine, if you will, on some of these intermediate throws. And we're seeing him do that now throughout the course of this season. But again, you just see he was the outlet intermediate, and he's just an absolute beast. I mean, he looks like a defensive end playing tight end. He's got a body like Jadeveon Clowney. Terrence Carter, number 3 for me.
Love it. Great pick. He was honorable mention for me. There's a lot of really good tight ends in this league. I mean, just about every team has a standout tight end who's super underrated. I go up to Ames, Iowa for my third team all-league tight end, Iowa State Cyclones, Benjamin Bramer, 6'7", 255. Now, he did miss a game towards the tail end of the season due to an injury, but he still had 37 grabs, 446 yards, 6 touchdowns, over 12 yards per catch. He's a red zone presence. He also just had some big grabs, like against Kansas State week 0. Iowa State does not win that game if he doesn't have a crucial third down, like 20-yard catch. He's an underrated route runner. He's a phenomenal blocker. And I think a big reason why Iowa State didn't just completely collapse this season offensively, he became down the stretch the number 1 weapon for Rocco Becht. And a big reason why they were able to bookend that 4-game losing streak in the middle of the season with a 5-game winning streak to start and a 3-game winning streak to finish up. He's athletic. Again, he's an underrated route runner, great blocker. I think he's a pro at 6'7", 255. He's just a hybrid. Ben Bramer.
All right. My second team, all Big 12 tight end, is Tanner Koziel from Houston. This guy was an absolute monster. 65 receptions at the tight end position. That led all of FBS. And he was second in the Big 12 in yards. 5 touchdowns. He was just an absolute volume monster. And, I mean, it's funny. When we think about Amari Thomas and Tanner Koziel, both those guys are second team all Big 12 on my list. Like, why wasn't the Houston passing game better? With those two guys were monsters. But look, Koziel was a red zone machine. He won down the field. He won underneath. He was everywhere. I mean, 65 receptions is 65 receptions. He had the year I think we thought Joe Royer might have. But, yeah, Koziel for me number 2.
Yeah, he's my second team all-league tight end as well. And he's a great story. And I think a story that should be highlighted, the good side of NIL and the transfer portal, because he played 3 seasons at Ball State, and he had 7 touchdowns as a true freshman. Everybody wanted this guy. He could have left. He stuck it out. His junior year blows up, leads the nation in receptions among tight ends with 94 grabs. And I remember doing our Houston season preview before the year, and you look up Houston, all the things, and it's like they've got the number 1 rated tight end on this college football video game in the country? Who's this guy? Tanner Koziel, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, and again, just another really well-rounded blocker, pass catcher, has a tremendous radius. He's 6'7" with like a 7-foot wingspan, 240 pounds. He looks like a power forward for Kelvin Sampson's basketball team. Love the kid, second team all-league.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we're going to have the same first team all tight end, which is Michael Trigg from Baylor. Baylor has just lived in the top 3 all this week on the offensive side of the football. What do you think about Sawyer Robertson didn't crack our top 3 quarterbacks, probably should have, but Josh Cameron could have been on that list, Bryson Washington. We had the offensive lineman on our list, so Trigg, another one of those. But I thought Trigg just athletically, every time he touched the football, he was just on a different level. To me, he's in the same category as Terrence Carter, where it's like this dude could play defensive end. I mean, he could play a lot of positions. Just incredible catches, incredible range, his ability to high point a ball, his ability to catch a ball at his shoestrings. He's just a monster. You put it within his vicinity. Like, I don't want to do this comparison, but every time I watched him, it felt like Kelvin Johnson. Like, he just has such a wide berth and, like, huge hands, big-time target. This guy is going to be a big-time NFL tight end. Michael Trigg led the Big 12 in receiving yards at the tight end position with 694 and 6 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, he was a move-the-chains, finish drives sort of Baylor player, and it's a big reason why Baylor's offense was as explosive as it was.
High usage, total mismatch. He's my first team, all Big 12 tight end as well. 6'4", 240, 4-star kid out of high school, like one of the top 5 tight ends in that recruiting class. Started his career at USC, then he goes to Ole Miss, and then he wraps up at Baylor. You mentioned his numbers. I can't get that highlight reel one-handed grab that he had against Kansas State late in the game. That without that, Baylor probably doesn't win that game. Blew up against the Wildcats, had 8 catches for 155 yards. That was a Baylor tight end single-game record. Size, speed, he checks all the boxes, scheme weapon for Baylor, and I think he'll be missed next year because he runs like a receiver. Like he tight end body, runs like a receiver, hands like a receiver. Not a great blocker, but he is in a category by himself in terms of a pass catcher for tight ends.
Did you have Koziel 1 and Trigg 2?
No, I had Trigg 1 and Koziel 2.
Okay.
What did you have?
Trigg 1, Koziel 2, and Terrence Carter 3. But Anthony Smith, our producer from Raycom for Big 12 Studios, said that the list you sent to him was flip-flopped 1 and 2. Just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know if I'm extremely influential in helping you change your opinion on this.
Let's go back to the tape.
Oh, here we go.
I did. I sent him.
Are you going to call Anthony out on air?
I hit him with a pump fake. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry, Anthony. I totally butchered that segment.
It's because of me.
Behind the scenes, I just messed up.
No, what happened?
Totally messed up.
What happened is you heard me have Trigg 1 and Koziel 2, and you're like, well, I couldn't have them flip-flopped.
That's exactly what it was. It's like I've got to just ride this guy's coattails for 3 hours a day.
No!
3 hours a day.
One segment once.
He walks in here like he's the president, and I ride those coattails. All right? Strap up.
Tell me how you really feel.
Let's go. I'm here for it. All right, you said Texas Tech can play for the national championship. I don't disagree.
I could. Will.
Will.
You heard it here first. I'm reporting it first.
You're reporting it first. Okay. Yeah. Viral sensation, Ari Timken. Is this Texas Tech team better than the 2022 TCU team that played for the national championship?
Yes.
Got boat raced by Georgia,
Yes.
but they got there.
Yes. A lot better.
Yeah, how much better? Because I agree, I think it's pretty clear.
Significantly better.
Like, would you rather have... Now, I think TCU was better offensively,
Yeah.
but this Texas Tech defense...
Right. And TCU had a good defense that year. The pieces just fit, but they weren't nearly this disruptive in their front seven. Like they were stacked. They had a good secondary, good front. Like they had a good front seven, but yeah, I mean this isn't close to. I almost compare TCU a little bit to BYU's defense, where like they turned you over, they were opportunistic.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They maybe weren't the best up front, like going up against Georgia. But yeah, I think it's a significantly better defense. I think I agree with you on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, that TCU team had Quentin Johnson at receiver. I thought he was the best receiver in the country that year. Max Duggan at quarterback was more dual threat.
See, I think those two are better than
Andre Miller, I think, at running back.
Yeah, well, they had a couple of running backs, but I like Texas Tech's running backs this year than I did TCU's. I like maybe TCU's offensive line, maybe. Probably like Duggan and the wide receiver and Johnston better.
But like if those teams,
but I also like the three receivers that Texas Tech has over Johnston. I'm trying to remember the full team they had.
So TCU that year, the only difference, and Taman, I think the epic music is good, but I think we can pot that baby down a little bit. Appreciate it. Great job, Taman. T-Chains. That TCU team, the only difference that I see is TCU played a bunch of ranked teams.
See, now I can't take you seriously with the music not playing. Dun 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 dun.
Just
dun,
magnifies everything we say. I love that music bed.
I know.
It's a great find. Great find.
T-Chains has been off the chains with some of these music beds we've had. Mm-hmm. Got to figure out the Christmas music, but beyond that,
Yeah, where'd you find that bed? Did I send you that?
You sent me it, but I made it better.
How did you do that? I knew I sent it to him. I love that.
I love how you took the credit
Bro,
for
I
it.
love that bed. I've heard that bed 1,000 times.
I mean, the bed he has for some of the other segments are awesome too. Give T-Chains
I am
some credit
giving him
here,
credit.
James.
I made it longer and I added a few, rhythms.
I'm sorry, Tam. I'm being a real bully today.
How dare you?
I added a few
apologize.
rhythms. You're looking at a composer there, James. You should see him in the studio composing music.
You see what I'm doing when I'm not here,
Dun,
James.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, TCU played a bunch of ranked teams. What I was trying to say, that's the only difference I can find, is TCU played Oklahoma, and KU was ranked that year, and Oklahoma State was number 8 when they beat them. They beat Kansas State, who was number 17 at the time, and then they beat Texas, who was number 18 at the time.
I'm sorry, are you going with the Texas Tech hasn't beaten anybody argument here?
No, I'm all with you. I'm with you on Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech straight up.
You're saying TCU played a harder schedule.
Yeah, and I'm saying Texas Tech is being overlooked because of their schedule and the way they beat people. Like Texas Tech's
being overlooked because people are stupid and obtuse, and they buy into narratives that they're being fed by by people who want to peddle narratives that the SEC and the Big Ten are so much better than everybody else. That's it.
Yeah.
People are stupid and lazy. They're not watching the games. They're not paying attention.
This team is legit.
Legit.
Too legit. Coming up next, Chris Cartman, the owner-publisher of SunDevilSource.com for 24/7 Sports. He joins us at the bottom of the hour. He joins us at 9:30, I see now. Or it is 9:20.
9:20.
It is 9:20. There's a typo. It says 9:30. Thought we were going to have to stall.
Wow,
until
once again,
9:30.
calling out T-Chains.
What? T-Chain? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Taman.
that
I will
was-
send you a gift basket.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Well deserved.
I love the pullover today. It looks great.
Oh, well,
And the new shoes.
Thank you.
I see it. How many new shoes did you buy on vacation?
On Black Friday, I got 3 pairs of Jordans.
3 pairs?
And 2 Nike shirts for $115.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a steal.
Steal of a deal.
Ari can't even find deals like that
No.
on his Reddit backdoor website.
That's right.
All right, Chris Cartman's going to join us next, officially, to break down what's going on with Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. Is he staying? Is he leaving? Chris is all over this stuff. He's Ari. I'm James. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo. Alongside Ari Timken on social at Ari Sports, ARI Sports. I'm James Westling on social at James Westling. We are simulcast on the TV side on Big 12 Studios. On the audio side, we are here on TuneIn. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league. And from 2 hours ago, Maize and Brew, which is the Bleacher Report blog for Michigan, notes that the betting favorite to be the next head coach at Michigan is Arizona State head coach Kenny Dillingham, followed by Washington head coach Jedd Fisch, and then Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer. Other names include LA Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, the interim coach Biff Poggi, and Louisville head coach Jeff Brom. That's the list.
We should ask somebody who asked somebody if Kenny Dillingham was going to stay at Arizona State.
Chris Cartman?
Not yet.
Oh,
yet
my bad. I
with
thought he was
us.
there. Totally screwed the pooch on that one.
It is a Wheels Off Wednesday.
It's a Wheels Off Wednesday.
I've never seen you more wheels off, and I think it's my favorite version of Ari Timken.
Thank you.
Like,
I know you have a lot of favorite versions of me, so.
Right, and there are many. There are many. You should get that checked out, but I like this one.
Don't worry, he's on his way.
My wife says the same thing. Weird.
Well, I'm your work wife. So while we await, let's hear what Kenny Dillingham said. Taman, if you can do that.
Where's my dinner?
Clip 8. This is Dillingham addressing the nervousness that us and Arizona State fans are feeling about his deal with, is he coming back? Is he going to Michigan?
I think my job is to try to do whatever I can for the people that are with me, right? The people that are in the foxhole, the coaches that are in the foxhole with me, is I got to do whatever I can to fight for those people, for my family, for everything from that perspective. And kind of, and I love it here. I've said that since day one. That's absolutely never changing. Absolutely never changing. So, yeah, that piece is never changing.
Very careful with his words.
Yes, he is. That piece is never changing. Whether I'm here or not, I love it here and I love the people here. Well, but I don't know if I'm going to be here.
And go to the first thing he said, right? Like, my first priority is with the people that are fighting the foxhole with me, which could be anywhere. Doesn't necessarily. And look, I'm not suggesting that he's saying that to get the Michigan job. He is keeping his leverage open, which is what he needs to do.
Chris Cartman, who's been all over this stuff, the owner-publisher of SunDevilSource.com for 24/7 Sports, joins us now on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio. Hey, Chris, what's up?
Always Something University. That's what's up.
Yeah. Always Something University. I like that. Might get a T-shirt made with that on the front. I'm here for that. All right, so we just played
Chris is like, you can buy it on my website.
We just played a clip from Kenny Dillingham. So you are the guy that has the inside scoop. What is the latest?
Yeah, Michigan's interested in Kenny Dillingham. He's on the list. I don't know exactly where he is on the list. His contract negotiations are ongoing with ASU. I asked him about the things that he needs to feel confident in stability of the program moving forward. There's really three things that this is going to come down to. Number one is the commitment in NIL resources. I think that's something that he feels reasonably good about based upon recent comments that he's made. The second thing is assistant staffing compensation, salary pool. I think he wants to make sure that he can retain his staff. That's been a difficult thing at ASU historically over the years. He was, in fact, on Todd Graham's staff as a graduate assistant in 2014, 2015, when that staff was decimated by departures. He went with Mike Norvell to Memphis. The program cratered after that. And then the third thing he talked about is longevity. That I think might be the most challenging and the most interpretive of this whole situation. He has a contract that provides a 1-year rollover on top of the 5 years that are a maximum in Arizona state law that can be given. So for every year in which his team wins 6 or more games, up to 5 years, he gets an automatic rollover. So this year, for example, they won 8. He got an automatic rollover going into the end of 2030, and then that would happen subsequently. But maybe something along the lines of a big buyout amount that he would be paid in the event that he gets fired, or it could be no offset language, meaning doesn't have to go try to get a job if he does get fired, or something along those lines. The reason I think he would want that would be if he's turning down jobs that would pay him dramatically more money, let's say maybe $4 million, $5 million a year more potentially. That would be a loyalty to ASU that he might want to see matched in terms of the commitment from the university.
Chris, as well connected as you are in the information you have, do you think Kenny Dillingham is the head coach at Arizona State a year from now?
I would say that's more likely than not. I'm not going to say that this is anywhere near a done deal or a sure thing or even overwhelmingly likely. We don't know if Michigan is truly going to go hard after him. We don't know if he might campaign for the job in the event, like maybe not openly, but maybe privately. If he doesn't get what he's hoping to in the contract negotiations with ASU, we're not sure whether or not ASU is willing to give him one or more of these things that I've outlined. That I have to just kind of put all that into the filter of the assessment. I think that this probably gets resolved with ASU satisfactorily, but I can't say that with a extremely high degree of confidence, and also we don't know whether or not Michigan will target him.
Chris, how much of these ongoing negotiations are about Kenny Dillingham and his future and his contract versus like his assistant coaches and NIL budget? I'm sure it's frustrating to lose a quarterback like Sam Leavitt in the portal.
Yeah, look, I think he's a realistic person. He understands that ASU is not going to have as much money as the top 10 programs out there. And I don't think he's trying to get that. And he's also not trying to get anything close to the amount of money for himself personally that he could get at one of these other jobs, like an SEC or a prominent Big Ten job. So this isn't really about him trying to squeeze as much out of ASU for himself. This is about what is realistically achievable as he sees it at ASU, and what the ingredients are that from a university commitment standpoint that would enable him to be successful well into the future if he remains in Tempe.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, and visiting with him, and obviously I'm sure you're well aware of this, like he wants to win a national championship. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you need the resources in order to be able to do that. In your estimation, does Arizona State have the resources, and maybe not internally, but externally too?
Well, look, I think we all remember a year ago, ASU was like one play away from being in the Final Four.
True. They literally were. Yeah, true.
So of course it's achievable. And I think it's important for everybody to understand that a year ago, there was no rev share. Schools were not compensating athletes. ASU had less than $4 million in NIL on its roster, playing against a bunch of teams that were in the college football playoff that had athletic directors admitting that there were $20 million on their roster. Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, the Notre Dame. These schools and their benefactors, more precisely, were spending 5 times to 7 times as much money as ASU. Right now, what we're talking about with rev share is more when you also factor in the NIL component, which is about equivalent or maybe a little bit more than rev share at the top of the scale. We're talking about more of a 2-to-1 disadvantage financially that ASU faces against the Texas Techs of the world and some of these other teams that are in the college football playoff. That seems, I'm not a math whiz, but that seems an easier task than overcoming a 4 or 5 to 1 disadvantage. So I think ASU still can plausibly do well were it to make the playoff, but it requires feeling great about your staff continuity and about your ability to retain the players that you have on your roster that are really important. Sam Leavitt, yes, he's leaving, not because ASU couldn't pay Sam Leavitt top of market. Any team could pay, not any team, but the vast majority of these teams that are in the Power Four conferences can afford to pay a quarterback $3.5 or $4 million. That's not the problem. The problem is, what if that quarterback wants an equivalent amount of offensive line talent and wide receiver talent to the very top schools in the country in a way that then prevents ASU from fielding a competitive defense, right? And ASU had a really good defense, and Brian Ward is a great coordinator. You really can't do that strategically. And so these are real challenges, but Dillingham is willing to hang in there by all accounts, everything that I've heard, if he's able to get some of these things shored up.
Talking with Chris Karpman, Sun Devil Source here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. So, Chris, with all the, there's so much talk about Dillingham and what he needs to stay and Arizona State players that maybe transfer out because of better offers. So can you try and paint the picture for us based off your estimations, where Arizona State sits with resources, NIL in the league? Are they bottom half of the conference? Are they middle of the pack? Where do you think they land?
I think this year they were middle of the pack. Next year maybe they'll be a little bit better. Michael Crow, ASU's president, has encouraged some university benefactors who give a lot of money to the university to also support athletics. So this is an understanding that this is going to improve ASU's NIL spend. It's not going to match Texas Tech. It may not match BYU. I think people may not understand, Kalani Sitake, he's got a lot of resources in the BYU community. They've done a phenomenal job of stepping up to support that program. And then there's a few other schools that are also doing well. And I think ASU can get into that tier next year to where maybe, it's not going to be Texas Tech. It might not be BYU, but it could be in the next grouping potentially. And look, the success that ASU's had last year, even this year, to a large degree, given how many injuries and other problems that they've had. It's an attractive place for transfer portal players. ASU's done extremely well with transfer portal players. It's a destination that a lot of kids would like to be at. Maybe the numbers won't be totally equal for everyone, but there's a lot of guys that they're going to be able to get from a talent standpoint that I anticipate their transfer class is going to look good in January. I'm not concerned about that for ASU. It's more of Dillingham, who has said that he feels the need to fight for everything that he could get for the program. I feel like that is really what's going on. He's trying to push to try to get as much as he can from a university that historically has been very hesitant and not that aggressive in how it supports football.
Yeah, well said, and completely agree. What an incredible season for basically the floor under Kenny Dillingham at 8-4. With Jeff Sims at quarterback, it's a remarkable year what they were able to put together. Two-part question here, Chris, from me. What did you think of Sam Leavitt's exit, and especially not attending the awards banquet? I thought it was BS. Hate it, and don't think it exhibits good leadership qualities. At least that's what it shows to me. But my second part is, who's under center for Arizona State next year, if you were to guess?
Yeah, I think that was an unfortunate misstep. Sam Leavitt has been a good leader at ASU in terms of his work ethic. He's a guy who shows up early, stays late. A lot of other players said that he was trying to beat everybody in conditioning races in the off season. When they took breaks during practice, he was the guy that was standing out in the sun while other people were sitting down in the shade. He set a really good example, but the way that his departure has unfolded is, I think, regrettable. He let ASU know, Dillingham know on Sunday before the banquet, that team banquet, that he was going to transfer. And I think there was just a lot of emotions that are involved, and he was affected by it, and then made a bad decision. And that's not the way that you need a leader to respond in those situations. It doesn't really change the fact that I think that overall he is a talented, capable quarterback who can lead programs and is someone who has first-round NFL draft upside and all of that. But these guys are making a lot of money, and they have to demonstrate at all times that they have the high character and all of the intangible qualities that everybody would want to align with. And then as far as who's going to be under center next year, I'm reasonably confident that's going to be a transfer quarterback. Dillingham was asked yesterday if he'll take a transfer quarterback in the portal. He said 100%. That's a quote. And they may even take two quarterbacks, really, because Jeff Sims is also going to depart their backup. They have Cam Dyer, who's a freshman. He's talented. He's intriguing. He had a good practice yesterday. They have Michael Butter-Tollefson, who's also a freshman. I don't think that you can put all your eggs in the basket of those guys, plus Jake Fetty, 4-star, borderline top 10 national recruit quarterback who's going to be arriving in January. You just can't count on that happening. BYU has a freshman quarterback who did really well this season and led them to the Big 12 championship game, but that may not happen, and you need redundancy at that position. And so I'm sure that they'll add somebody who already has either demonstrated some success at the Division I level, or was an extremely highly regarded backup who maybe hasn't really played that much, but they feel confident about the development from a practice standpoint over a multi-year period.
All right, Chris, before we let you go, we had a national writer on when the Kalani Sitake to Penn State stuff was out there, and he said it was like a 65% chance that Kalani Sitake was the head coach at Penn State next year. And then the next day, Sitake announced he was coming back to BYU. So there's no pressure here is what I'm getting at. Give us a number. What's the percentage chance that Kenny Dillingham is back at Arizona State next year?
Yeah, I'm going to say around 70%. You have to factor in that he may not be the number one target of Michigan, and the reasonably good chance that he could come to an agreement with ASU in the contract situation. But I'm still leaving a 30% margin, which is not that small, of this not working out and Michigan targeting him and him leaving.
All right, Chris Karpman, 70% chance Dillingham is back at Arizona State next year. There's a 100% chance that Chris is back at Arizona State for SunDevilSource.com. Chris, appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.
You're the best, Chris. Thank you. We didn't even get to ask you about basketball. Huge game tonight.
Big game tonight. Chris, there's a big game tonight. Ari wants to ask you about basketball. You still there?
Yeah. ASU's had a enormously successful non-conference. Picked last in the Big 12 by coaches and media, two separate polls. They're currently, I think, 9th in the net rankings among Big 12 teams, 8th or 9th. They are, if the season ended today, which they might love to happen, they probably would make the NCAA tournament, which is insane. The gauntlet that's ahead of them is enormously difficult. Like this is a conference with 5 or 6 legitimate top 25 teams, and so they're going to be tested much more than they have to this point. But Mo Odom is a special kind of a point guard leader. He's got an indomitable type of attitude and approach. And Masamba Diop is a very high upside big, and if their perimeter players, especially their forwards, make threes and they're able to do a better job at securing the defensive glass and not allowing second chance opportunities, then they're going to have a good chance to beat some very talented teams in the Big 12.
Got a big one tonight at UCLA. Chris Karpman. Now we will let you go, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it, guys.
Chris Karpman, owner, publisher, SunDevilSource.com for 24/7 Sports, your number one go-to spot for all things ASU. Heisman voter Chris.Karpman at gmail.com. We wrap up the show coming up next with the final whistle. He's Ari, I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo.
Daniels back to pass.
One final time here on your home for the Big 12 Conference. This is the Big 12. This is a different league. Big 12 Radio brought to you the Full-Time Fan by Modelo. Heard exclusively on TuneIn. Podcasts on demand on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and here on TuneIn. We had Chris Vanini from The Athletic, senior writer today. We had Chris Cartman just moments ago, the owner and publisher of SunDevilSource.com for 24/7 Sports. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. I have found the most bizarre story, I think, in the Big 12.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Cincinnati basketball. They're kind of struggling right now.
Yeah.
6-4, I think, overall. Well, they've announced that Jizzle James is back. He's back. Where has he been? Nobody knows, but he's back. He's on the basketball team. He led them in scoring last year at almost 13 points per game.
Edgerrin James' son.
Yes, Edgerrin James' son.
The former, people know who Edgerrin James is, right?
Edgerrin who?
Former Colts running back, won a Super Bowl with the Colts. Really good player in his right. So, wait, where was Jizzle?
Not on Cincinnati. He wasn't playing anywhere. So he was dismissed from the team back in August. He's back.
Huh.
He's back on the team. He's been reinstated. Don't know if he was with the team and just or if he was on campus, if he was just working a job in Cincinnati, if he was even in Cincinnati.
Did he have quad cramps? Did he have hamstring cramps? Has he been sick?
So he's going to be on the floor tonight.
He play at Kansas.
What has he been doing? Has he been just balling out at the rec center? He's not been on the team, but he's been reinstated, and he's going to play tonight. He'll be on the floor against Alabama State. Jizzle James, the guard for Cincinnati, who lost to Louisville, lost to Eastern Michigan, lost at Xavier, lost at Georgia. They're 2-4 in their last 6 games.
According to the Bearcat Journal, by the way, dynamite find here with the most weird story out of the Big 12, because this is exactly what that is. The Florida native was dismissed from the team in August as he handled a personal matter. James made multiple cryptic posts on a social media that grabbed the attention of many fans, including a screenshot of a chat with his agent, with James making it clear he'd like to transfer. James has always been enrolled at school in Cincinnati, taking online classes when he trained in Houston. He came back to town just before the Bearcats played Louisville earlier this season. When asked about James' involvement with the team, Wes Miller previously said he'd been using the facilities but wouldn't comment on his official place in the roster. All right.
So he came back to campus just before the Louisville game, which was the week before Thanksgiving. I think they played that game on November 21st. And Wes Miller says, yeah, he's been working out in our facility. Is he with the team? Is he not with this is a weird deal.
By the way, noted fact checker T. Chains, our producer, lets me know that Edgerrin James was not, in fact, the running back of the Colts when they won the Super Bowl and beat my Bears. It was Joseph Adai.
But Edgerrin James, he's a Hall of Famer, right?
No, he's in the Colts Hall of Fame.
He's not in the NFL Hall of Fame?
No.
How confident are you?
He might be in the Miami Hall of
Fame. I'm about to moderate.
Actually, you are correct. He is in the Pro Football.
That's right.
I lied.
Pro Football Hall of Fame.
He's in the Colts Ring of Honor.
You've never
4-time Pro Bowler.
You were 50-50 on whether or not that
I was 100% he was in the Hall of Fame.
By the way, he did play in a Super Bowl with the Cardinals when they played the Steelers, but they didn't win.
That's right.
Another one of these NFL running backs that, once he hit 30, it was just downhill.
Yeah.
When he was 29, he rushed for 1,200 yards. Past 30, never more than 500. But he walked away at 31.
Yeah.
Kind of pulled a Barry Sanders.
Kind of.
Walked away in his prime.
No, that's a good story. Cincinnati could use a spark. They've been easily the most disappointing team in the Big 12. What's their record right now?
6-4.
Yeah, I love Wes Miller. I think he's a hell of a basketball coach, but he is very much on the hot seat, I would imagine. Cincinnati basketball not used to being this bad, this consistently, and not make tournaments as often as they have not. I think Wes has made the tournament once since his time at Cincinnati.
I don't think he's made it at all.
He hasn't made it at all. Yeah. And this is, I think, year 4, year 5?
This is year, for him at Cincinnati, this is year 5. He has not made the tournament.
Yeah, this is definitely it. He's got to make the tournament this year, I would think.
And, they were preseason. Remember, preseason last year, they were a top 15 team. In the AP preseason top 25, they were number 20 in the preseason poll. They got up to number 14 a couple of weeks into the season.
Do we know where they are on the net right now?
NCAA net rankings.
I'm looking through.
And what do you find?
I'm going. I'm
going?
down. Oh, I'm down here.
Yeah, Control F.
69 is Kansas State.
Okay.
70 is TCU. I'm still going.
I found them. Control F.
I'm just going to still keep scrolling.
Find, search. It's a nifty little tool.
I know.
Keep scrolling.
Whoa.
Yeah, keep going.
129.
Yeah.
I was down here in like High Point and St. Thomas and Seattle University.
Like, did I pass them?
I mean, they're right there ahead of North Dakota State, Middle Tennessee, UT Arlington, and UC Irvine. I'll be honest, I didn't even know UT Arlington was in Division 1.
Yeah, they're D1.
Yeah.
D1.
6-4. They're 0-1 in Quad 1, 0-2 in Quad 2. They are 6-1 in Quad 3, though. They've yet to play a Quad 4 game.
So, you know who else is
Oh, I had that wrong.
you had what wrong?
Their Quad 1 status. 0-2 in Quad 1, 1-1 in Quad 2.
Mm-hmm.
0-0 in Quad 3. They're 5-1. They have a Quad 4 loss.
To Eastern Michigan. Dude, they lost at home to Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, there you go. They're 5-1 in Quad 4 and 1-1 in Quad 2.
And a team that's only like 2 or 3 spots higher than them in the net is Memphis, who's 4-5. You know who Memphis' big splash transfer portal edition was? Doug McDaniel, former Kansas State guard.
You love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it, I guess. Leaves K-State really struggling. Yeah, the net rankings, UCF's 43, Colorado's 46, Arizona State's 51, Baylor's 65, K-State 69, TCU 70, Oklahoma State 74. Oklahoma State has not played a Quad 1 opponent. It's the only thing kind of weighing them down.
Yeah. Well, didn't they? Is Oklahoma not a Quad 1 opponent?
Apparently not, because it was on a neutral floor. Had it been a true road game, yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, Jizzle James was really good last year. He was the leading scorer, as you mentioned. And Cincinnati's struggling right now. And Cincinnati is right now not even close to being an NCAA tournament team, which is probably what they need to be in order for Wes Miller to keep his job. I would think 5 years with not making the tournament is justified to move on from him. So
yeah,
tough deal. Like Wes I think Wes is a really good basketball coach. He's a really good basketball mind. Super nice guy. I'm struggling to figure out why it hasn't worked.
Agreed. They've had talent. Talent has not been the issue.
Right.
But
the issue is coaching.
Or how coaching or how the roster was built, like chemistry-wise, the off-the-floor stuff, like that.
That's coaching.
I had a couple of their games last year, and like they were just the most disconnected basketball team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Really good players, really good one-on-one, but as a team, very poor.
Well, maybe this is the turning point for their season.
Bringing back a guy that was kicked off the team in August. Makes sense. All right, we're back tomorrow here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo, brought to you, the full-time fan, by our friends at Modelo. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling for T-Chains, our producer, for Anthony Smith, our Big 12 Studios quarterback. We're back tomorrow, 8A to 11A Eastern Time, 7 to 10 Central. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league. We are out.
Peace.